Well, hello there, everybody.
Hi.
Yeah, we had some technical issues, but those are solved now. Hopefully, possibly.
For once, it wasn't Jake.
Yay! I'm not a failure this time.
Yeah, for
Uh,
some reason, watched together just decided not to work. So, what are we
yes.
watching today?
As you can see from the title, it is organized chaos. We all love bad faith personified, don't we? In his video titled "EFAP is anti-art," which as a statement in and of itself is doesn't make any sense.
It's nothing they haven't heard before.
Well,
Like,
like saying someone is anti-art means that you like that. It's like it means that they are against the concept of art itself, which is very obviously not fucking true.
again, like these people who say that, the people who call EFAP all sorts of names, th-
Well,
like, it's all the same boring shit.
but this is the first time I've ever seen them call anti-art. There's like media
Oh, I've heard that
illiterate.
one before.
Oh, I haven't. I've never heard anyone call EFAP anti-art because I guess I just assumed that people understood that being anti-art is such an absolute absurd statement. You would have to be a fucking caveman in order to be anti-art, and even then, a caveman would not be anti-art.
Well, that's the thing. You want to talk about like how stupid the absolute brainlets of the internet are. People thought that of all things during the Hassan arc, thought EFAP were anti-artist.
That does.
You know, the people who they're like I'm sure they would have said something regardless of the fact that the Hassan picked on Jay, but at the same time didn't definitely didn't help his situation.
No, it didn't because Hassan's a fucking retard.
Cuz here's the thing. I would imagine all of like you and me would have that same reaction as well. Like somebody just decided to just out of nowhere pick on one of us. Like say Max like released a Warframe breakdown thing. Somebody
Yeah,
called him like they didn't know anything about the game. It's like, all right, no. I'm gonna rake you over the coals now.
yeah. This is really weird. Really, it's just a really weird thing to say, but it is organized chaos. Yeah, is it weird that I periodically check in on him to see if he has content that I can farm?
Well, I mean, considering like every person who's like lightly made fun of him lives rent free in his brain. Like
That's
it's just
true.
funny. It's like looking at going to the zoo. It's like looking at like, oh look, it's the organized chaos enclosure.
Yeah, although I think that might be a bit of an insult to zoo animals because they probably are a lot more earnest and intelligent than good old Bob here.
Well, that and they do something.
Yeah, but anyways, enough with the preamble. Enough with the foreplay. Let's get
At
into the
least,
good
at least when I throw,
hard
at
content.
least when I throw peanuts or a 10-year-old kid into the gorilla enclosure, at least something happens.
Jesus Christ. Is it playing for you?
Yes, it's finally working.
Okay, good.
And yeah, let's see what the fuck EFAP even has to say about this, because this is just base takes.
Base take from Chris
So,
Stuckman. Jesus fuck.
so that's why we're really here, because we love this our interesting connection with the Chris Tuckman video. But
Yeah.
I love how the preview. First up, I hate previews to people's videos. You're already on a. This is already like a collection from your streams. Why the fuck do you need a preview?
Who knows?
It just works for some reason with the algorithm.
I guess,
Um,
yeah.
but we showed through the preview or whatever was starting that. They were like, "Oh, what does EFAP think about this?" Showing that they live rent free in his head.
They do. I mean, like, he makes videos on Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker and whatnot all the goddamn fucking time.
Yeah.
Okay, too
Hey
long.
guys, I need you to do me a favor.
Jesus.
Help me fight the algorithm.
I tapped my headphones for a second, thinking that something broke. I was like, oh fuck's sake.
Yeah.
With them. Go ahead and hit like, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell icon for new notifications. Thank
That's, I don't know, maybe your content kind of deserves to get buried by the fucking algorithm. It's garbage.
Self promotion. It's fine. He's doing it
I
as
know.
a preamble, getting it out of the way. It'd be
I
annoying
know.
if halfway through his rant he was like, "By the way, like it, subscribe."
Well, no, the thing is, in my videos, I always say that at the fucking end. Because if you've made it to the end, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you probably will. But,
Yeah,
whatever.
but I think, like in terms of like meta analytics, like it does help your case when you say it within like the first minute.
True. That is true.
you. Alright, we obviously aren't going to watch this whole thing, but we can get like an intro. And EFAP number 274, The Assassination of Chris Stuckman by the Coward Chris Stuckman. Now,
Absolute banger title, by the way.
Yeah.
EFAP fans like to make a big fucking deal about being good faith. Like I'm like the worst person ever apparently because I'm bad faith.
When you are very bad faith, you were literally looking to see if Mahler made a comment on America Chavez having 2 moms, and you were disappointed when you didn't find it. Like,
That's what happened.
yeah.
The inciting incident. Does he ever talk about the mams?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, wow. It's because instead of being like, oh, cool, he doesn't, you know, complain about them being gay. That's cool, Mahler. I'll give you that. No, he's like, well, I guess he doesn't really talk about them. It's like disappointed.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at a stream called The Assassination of Chris Stuckman by the Coward Chris Stuckman, does that indicate to you that they're going into this with good faith or bad faith?
I mean,
Probably.
So the title does give it away that it's
Mm-hmm.
so, but like keep in mind when it's a repeat offender, like on EFAP, like if you're just now reviewing their stuff, they'll give you a chance to, like, if you mess up like your grammar or you mess up your point a little bit, but like the general point still gets across, they'll normally be like, all right, I get you.
Yeah.
But like people like Chris Stuckman's such a repeat offender that they forgot they already covered one of his videos.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about, like, we should cover one of his prequel things. And it's like covered his Attack of the Clones and his Phantom Menace review.
Yeah, but even then, like a title, like even if you go into like the title, like The Assassination of Chris Stuckman by the Coward Chris Stuckman, it's like, is it bad faith if it's true? Well, I guess it could be.
No, it could be incredibly bad faith.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it bad faith, honestly. Because, like you said,
I don't know if I don't think I'd call it bad faith. I think I'd call it just crude titling.
Oh yeah, it's a very crude, eye-catching title,
and definitely shows that it's like, I don't know. Maybe that's just a difference in interpretation as well, because Mahler was the person who typed that out, so that does show intent.
Well, the thing is, it's like, my only thing with bad faith is if you have like a weird eye-catching title or whatever, something like that, or whatever, it's like, I wouldn't call that in and of itself bad faith. It's how the stuff in the video is presented. That's when it's bad faith, and EFAP was not bad faith at all in their coverage at all.
No, I mean, granted, they talked plenty of shit in the sense that like Mahler editing the "I am a surgeon" thing, but it's I am a filmmaker.
Yeah, I mean, it's just having memes.
So,
anyways, it just sounds like Bob here is really salty that, like, the last 2 times he covered Mahler, he got
his name is Bob. Because when you say Bob, I keep thinking you're talking about Movie Bob.
No, sorry. Movie Bob is a whole other category of human.
Talking shit for your dad.
I am not my father. How dare you? He's not. I've disowned him.
About that one.
What did he say?
To you that they're going into this with good faith or bad faith. Let you think about that one.
Projection.
And I'll be blunt. I'm going into this with bad faith because these guys are assholes. So
So, keep in mind, okay, so to spoil some of the illusion, I watched a little bit of this ahead of time, and that's what caused all of this. This operation was my idea,
Yeah.
and it was all within the first, like, 5 seconds that I was like, we have to do this because of the Chris Stuckman stuff. But then he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna be bad faith.
That was never in doubt. So like,
That was never in doubt. It's just funny. He's just admitting it.
well, yeah, because these guys are assholes. Well, yeah, because is it because that you got absolutely clowned on and humiliated? Is
And
that
also,
why?
even if somebody's an asshole, like there's the like, because what we do isn't even in bad faith. We joke around a lot more because you're again a repeat offender.
Mhm.
Whereas like we're not like even when that media literally class, the guy talking about the Lion King.
Oh yeah, the radical reviewer.
Yeah, we were ripping him apart, but that certainly wasn't out of bad faith. You just made a
No,
bad
it was
video.
his horrendous interpretations of the Lion King.
Exactly.
Scar is actually the good guy. The hyenas are good, actually.
Because they represent communism.
Yeah.
let's see. We got. I don't know who Gene Siskel glowy eyes are, but we of course got Fringy, Homelander face apparently, Mahler, Nerdrotic,
Jay
Rags.
Longbone.
Mm-hmm.
Yay!
What?
Yay!
Christopher Stuckman. So we meet again.
Imagine if it
Our
was
fates are
S.
intertwined.
Tuckman. Like his middle name was.
So so viewers at home, I know this, but how much you want to bet Bob goes without saying a single fucking word? Write in the comments.
Steven. And
Yeah,
then,
it's just.
then it was Tuckman.
Yeah.
Mhm.
and he was like, "What if I took the S and put it onto the Tuckman? I'm Stuckman." What does Stuckman make you think of? That he's stuck?
Yeah.
He's kind of
I
stuck.
don't
isn't
know
he?
that it makes me think of anything, honestly.
There's got to be something
Oh.
thematically.
I
hate-
hope so with what's going on, I just hope you really liked if you're crossover with the EFAP audience. I hope you liked this episode because we're gonna be hearing about it. We're just gonna be kind of rewatching it for a second.
Yep. And
I like this
Yeah.
EFAP. It's been my favorite so far, but I really love like the edited takedowns.
oh yeah.
It's why I'll always go back to was it Twitch Wars, whatever they called it?
The Story Action Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, the reaction wars were probably my like it's the fact that it like I was like, "Oh man, it's a 3 year in a row." Fuck yeah, like the fact that I had that shit timed.
I'll always go back to the Synthetic Man one.
That like you know how Wolf is running EFAP highlights?
Yeah.
He put a chunk of the synthetic not synthetic venom.
Synthetic Man.
Synthetic Man. I was right the first time. Synthetic Man. God of War sucks video.
Mm-hmm.
It was the one where he was like, "Oh, you know, I'm never gonna be on EFAP because I know exactly what I'd call everybody." And it's like, "Oh, you're just a hateful person."
Yeah. Whereas with Cinematic Venom, like fucking, he went on. He did a re-review of Lord of the Rings. He's a fan now.
Yeah. Those who aren't familiar with YARP lore, we've talked with Rob.
Yeah.
Great guy. We watched his Suicide Squad video. It was watched it with him. It was not pleasant. Even he was just like, "This is shit."
Yeah. I don't, yeah, and you know he's gone through quite the redemption arc.
Yeah, I'm really proud of him.
Valuable about his name. You know, Chris is a
there-
very uncommon name, and
that's-
it makes you think of all kinds of things, right? Who's called
There
Chris?
was a comment
Nobody.
on the
You should
that
probably
montage
turn
I made
the
of his
video
thumbnail
down a
faces.
little bit.
Someone said his
What'd you say?
Yeah, and thus my point comes across. You should probably turn it down just a little bit, because oh yeah, my volume's at max. I don't know what it is for your audience.
Oh no, for mine it was like it's like not even half.
Okay,
face is stuck. Man.
yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
I lowered my I thought you were at full volume for a moment, so it's like, oh shit, that's gonna be loud as fuck for anyone.
Nah.
His face is stuck, man, and I wish I had thought of that.
Oh.
So
Say
Faces,
something.
why did you put a copyright song on that
Say
video?
something.
We'll come watch it on video, randomly on stream.
It was the perfect song.
This intro is why they do like 12-hour stream. Like, what is even this? I want to see how they're going to introduce us to the video, because that tells us a lot about like what they're doing. But the fuck?
It's a bunch of
So-
friends talking with each other. You fucking retard.
Not even that. Look at the timeline. It's only been a minute.
Yeah.
They're waiting for people to get in.
Yeah.
That's
but
what you do when you
yeah.
do a live event. You gotta let your audience know you're online. You gotta get in. And just shoot the shit for a little bit. Because
Yeah.
that's EFAP isn't like an official super duper podcast where they like stick to a time limit. No, they're just a bunch of friends shooting the shit.
Yeah, and you'll inevitably go off on tangents and whatnot. It's fuck. I can't count the amount of goddamn tangents that we go on my show.
It's why, like, and sometimes I enjoy the tangents so much that I forget what we were actually talking about. It's why, well, it was a Rebel Moon video where suddenly me, Slur, and Shammy went on like a 20-minute tangent on Dune.
It was something. Yeah. It was. It was the second one, I think.
Yeah, we just went on like a whole Dune tangent, and then we completely forgot what we were even talking about.
Yeah. Fuck, you want to talk about tangents? The Jules Sean video that had a lot of tangents in it.
I had tangents upon tangents upon tangents.
The first Cinema Wins Godzilla vs Kong video, we went off on fucking professional wrestling, all sorts of shit. Oh, those were magical. Those are my two favorites.
I think my most favorite episode, and at least involving some like reoccurring people, was definitely the last episode, because it's not rare to hear Max get frustrated at something, but at the same time, it's a sight to behold.
It is. And I hear
You know,
just
when-
some guy has a worse Starship Troopers video.
Just when I think I'm out, I get pulled right back in.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out later, but yeah.
You know, there's nothing that can be done about it.
You know
It's
what? I appreciate
Muse has
that.
told me.
The art comes first. You're not a producer or anything, are you? You're more of a creative.
Yeah. I'm not one of those suits trying to tell
Never
artists
worn a
what to
suit,
do.
ever.
Yeah, everyone want to see it?
No, because that would mean I'm not creative.
Ugh. Well, you know, we should probably just go ahead and start getting into this wacky bonus EFAP, because already people are like, what is happening here? And it's like, yeah, bet you didn't expect to see EFAP on a Wednesday. That's where we are, right?
How you doing?
Okay, I guess.
Well, because there's just so much of that. Like that felt so awkward. That was a good like 15, 20 seconds of just somebody else's content just playing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say because it's like I'm just listening to the podcast and I have to remember
Yeah,
I'm running my own right now.
Yeah, we're just listening. We're just casually just stopping what we're doing and just listening to an EFAP while waiting for Bob over here to fucking say something.
Yeah, why not? Why not like skip to a part? Why not like skip to a part of the podcast?
Here's the fucking hilarious thing, Jake.
Does he?
This is a clip down from a stream. This is already technically edited. Because this isn't just playing back a stream, because then it wouldn't be only like 24 minutes. This is something he specifically made.
Oh my
He must have.
god!
He would have had to have edited it down.
I just
because
thought this
for
was
him-
like the first 24 minutes of like him watching it.
For all we know, it might just be that. However, if this is like a stream highlights thing, because I don't know what the fuck they're gonna even get across with just the first 20 minutes, because I don't even think they start the video until 30 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's hump day.
Going to be crazy, man. Wednesday EFAPs, you never know what's going to happen if ever they pop up. It probably means that something happened, something weird and wacky, and that we wanted to cover it. And you know what? That kind of does cover it. We do, and we'll definitely be talking about something wild and wacky with a guest set that will change probably as we.
I just want to say, I hate it when people speed up videos.
Yeah,
I hate that.
So Slur watches everything at ×2 speed, and I don't understand how.
What the fuck? Why?
I don't know. Because that's just too much is happening by that point for me. Especially if I'm already doing an activity that's like trying to keep my hands busy by playing a video game. I don't need my podcast going at 2 times.
Yeah, I mean, it also just doesn't sound right.
Yeah. It's almost
Sounds
as if you
really
just hit
bad.
the fast forward button.
Yeah.
Talk about it. But if you're in the world of film, you likely would have heard about something that happened recently, a rumbling. And that rumbling comes in the form of Jay Longbone upsetting everybody. What's wrong with you?
Oh, Jay, I can't believe
Rude.
you've done this. I
This-
can't believe you've done this.
There's opinions you're allowed to have, and then there's what you say. And that's just too much. And, you know, when I saw, God, he's so annoying on Twitter, I was like, someone needs to send her messages that involve threatening her life, you know? Like, that needs to happen. What's funny is that'll be in here as well, and that'll just go to show anybody who's
Everybody comfortable? Everybody, you got your popcorn and your candies.
I mean, I'm calling an escort over here right now. You know, we're just gonna
This,
sit
This
here
is-
and enjoy it together.
this is just like this may as well be its own fucking snack break. Cause
Yeah.
all right, 4 minutes in. Notice how like I don't know if you're like keeping track like a stopwatch in your head, but that was 15 whole seconds at the very least from start of 4 minute mark. You didn't say anything.
No, he didn't. Like, this is See, this is frustrating. Not because of this is frustrating in the opposite fucking direction. It's like, at least comment on something, like saying like, "Oh, I wonder what happened to Jay Longbone." Like, at least be inquisitive, or maybe theorize, or say something, Bob.
Be
You
expressive
lazy
with your
fuck.
face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, like you do something.
Yeah, react.
curious. Like, yeah, we get death threats a lot from saying people are annoying. It happens. That's the
Yeah.
internet. It's
Mhm.
just other people can sort of use that to their advantage. Do you remember when fucking Patrick Willems tweeted out someone talking about wanting to kill him, I think, and they ended it with they were from the Mauler Army? I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was almost certainly.
Is that like Dumbledore's army?
I was just like,
Wow. You guys have a toxic fan base. And, you know, you shouldn't send death threats to these guys, but, yeah.
Oh.
The fuck does that mean?
What does that mean, Bob? It's like you guys have a toxic fan base. I mean, like,
Also,
What the
like, I don't know. Like, do you subscribe to the theory that, like, not even the theory, the way of thinking that every fan base is toxic
no.
in some form or another? Like, I
There's
don't
gonna
even-
be toxic portions. Some are bigger than some are larger than others, but like,
Because, well, at the very
Excuse
least, the vocal version of the fandom is always going to be toxic because it's always going to be the toxic vocal minority.
Oh yeah.
That's why I subscribe to that headspace for the most part. It's why I don't interact with randoms for the most part when in any community. Like, it was a surprise when I was like, you know what? Fine, I'll reach out to Danny Fortuna for other stuff because I don't like to interact with strangers.
Yeah. And Ninja's the one that had to pull me to pull me into YARP.
Yeah, and in typical like how becoming my friend works, I didn't despise you, but I very much was just like, it took a bit to get used to you.
Yeah, that's what they say a lot, and then the women just usually leave.
Love you, pal.
I love you too, buddy. But kind of going back to what Bob said at the end, it's like, don't send death threats to these guys, and then just kind of like trails
What?
off. But it's like, yeah, don't send death threats to these guys. Wink, wink.
No, he flat out said but.
Yeah, but
He said
yeah.
but you know, and it's
But
like it's
actually,
like,
I'm
what
gonna
is-
I'm gonna see exactly just what he said, just
That's fine.
be
Just
safe.
like,
Wow. You guys have a toxic fan base. And, you know, you shouldn't send death threats to these guys, but,
But what do
You
you
know.
mean by that, Bob?
Yeah, you didn't catch that. I did.
What do you mean by that, Bobbert? Robert? Bobbert?
What are you, his dad? What? Robert Chaos. Robert
Why can't you
Organized
be-
Chaos?
Why can't you be like your brother Rabute? What?
That's
what?
gross. That's what Connor's biological kid looks like.
Yeah, no, they're
wonder
both.
he took over.
They're both adopted, but Rabute is, you know, a good person, and Robert is not.
You fucking play.
have I ever called you guys the
Dumbledore's
Mola
army.
Army? Like, what the hell?
Mauler army assemble.
I thought they were going to get to the video.
Motherfucker, it's been like what in the
3 minutes
podcast?
15 seconds.
Yeah, it's a podcast, a live one.
And- Also, are you paying attention to the chat?
No, I haven't. I'm not.
What the fuck is with this intro? My bets is bad faith on Chris Stuckman.
OMG, every time I see one of these EFAP streams, I feel like I'm getting slowly lobotomized. I mean, you're an organized chaos fan. You're already lobotomized.
I was gonna say, like, whenever I turn into an EFAP, I'm quickly like, I'm normally checking if there's a video, just because I use it as like a way to keep my brain awake. Not that I don't appreciate the conversation streams. It's nice when they have something to really bounce off of.
Oh yeah.
But then I'm just like, all right, I know I'm in for a bunch of laughs.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I wonder what it's like being a fan of organized chaos. Is it like how low does your IQ need to be?
Lower than us because we're sitting here critiquing organized chaos.
I mean, like, we're not really critiquing him that much because he hasn't fucking said that much. We're almost 5 minutes into this just under we're almost like a quarter of the way through this fucking thing, by the way.
Yeah, you know that first like pause of him not saying anything?
Yeah.
Audience, I timed it. Let me pull that picture back up because I think it was nearly 1 minute and 48 seconds. Pulling it back up. 1 minute and 44 seconds
Yeah.
of him not talking. It's just nearly 2 whole minutes of just listening to an EFAP.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point of this video?
Yeah, like why not just skip to like a part of the video?
Or here's the point I'm always gonna rake on when it comes to like anything you post on YouTube or any of that kind of stuff. Because if you're just reposting your stream, fine, repost your entire stream.
Mhm.
However, you're making edited content where you put in your intro, you talk about like all the like, comment, subscribe. That means you have I don't like fuck it, no. You have a duty to make your video as well edited as you possibly can.
Yeah.
That's like you got to have fucking standard that when you're looking at your own content, does that make you and you're not saying something for nearly 2 minutes, does that not just make you feel ashamed?
Yeah.
And how is your first reaction not to immediately cut it?
I mean, like, I've watched some of his edited scripted content. It is fucking abysmal. His video on his appreciation video on The Last Jedi is straight from 2017. Literally straight from 2017. Like, it's embarrassing.
At least when like Destiny or fucking even or even Vosh is fucking doing this kind of shit, you know what they're doing in the background? They're playing a game. There's their camera, there's the video in the corner, and the rest of the screen is a fucking video game. So at the very least, there's something happening.
Yeah.
And there's just nothing.
Yeah, it's
Nothing but him saying he's going to be like in bad faith, and then backhandedly saying that somebody deserves death threats.
Yeah. Fucking embarrassing. Like, embarrassing and disgusting. This is what, again, it's like Bob is the incarnation of bad faith. It's
He's a fucking asshole.
he is an asshole, but he's also a bitch. Did you see his
Debate with Eric July.
Yeah. Like fucking Eric got like really pissed off. Now I didn't really agree going after like, you know, his
Him being divorced and all that stuff. Yeah, I understand that, but it's because it's not related to what you're arguing about.
yeah, but like, cause like Bob just like, I guess, pushed Eric just to the point where he's just like, fuck it, I don't care anymore. You're just making me angry.
Yeah, like I can think of things that I could critique on him that isn't related to the point. Like it's like, oh, his room looks all messy. But first off, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Exactly.
So very slowly cleaning this place up. I got a new dishwasher.
That's good.
Like the mess is starting to clean. Not the point, but it's like, yeah, there's things that if I really wanted to, I probably could latch on and start giving him shit for. But it's not related to the video.
No.
So it's just that's again, that would be an instance of bad faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of those ones where it's like, hello, fellow bowler arbites. Here I am to fight the war. Yeah, that's what we do.
Fuck. No, it's just, we're just listening to an EFAP. No,
Exactly.
we gotta continue.
Molar Army Rise Up, indeed. But yeah, what we're doing here today is we're checking out the origin of this gigantic
Sped it up
war,
even more.
and
Yeah.
all the players involved, all the opinions you could possibly have, while sharing some of our own. You'd never guess. It starts with a Chris Stuckman video. Isn't that fucking crazy?
No, nothing's crazy. This is all just so.
Yeah. Oh, all right, geez. I was gonna say, like, I feel like it's a bit of a crazy thing to have happen because just nothing usually comes of what he says.
That's a good point, actually. You're right.
Yep.
Because usually the videos are so dull that there's nothing to fight about.
I don't even see his stuff getting shared ever. Like, not in the sense of, oh, you gotta check out the new song video, but just in the sense of, oh yeah, Chris like highlighted this about this.
Ooh, are there chapters in the comments? Video starts at 10. Oh wait, 16? Okay, we will go to Stuckman's statement, I guess.
Oh my god, dude, maybe you should have done that in the first place, you retard.
Yeah, you should have opened with that. 'Cause-
Like it's like you acknowledge that EFAPs are so long because of this, and it's like Yeah, they're really long because there's a lot of just go to the fucking chapters if there are chapters.
No, I'll do you one even better. There aren't chapters. There's just a dedicated fan, and like, God bless him. He goes through those videos every single time, and he gets all those timestamps because he's
Yeah.
really good at it.
Yeah, he's just.
It was
fucking...
There were a few months he wasn't around, and everybody got really sad.
Yeah, but like, he just needed a break. I mean, like, he's doing God's work, and God's work ain't easy.
Yeah, so it's if you really hate these guys so much, you would notice certain habits, such as it's really easy to find timestamps for their streams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, you should have done it a lot sooner too. You shouldn't have waited so fucking long. Like, Jesus Christ.
Heard since mostly about film celebration on this channel. Having seen,
what does that mean?
What a
Wait,
statement.
wait.
So what does that
I'm
mean,
gonna
guys?
celebrate.
did you know that you could say a lot of things by the things you
Sorry, like you sped it up to point 2, so it's just starting to hurt.
Yeah, it's just
This
it
is
just
why I
sounds
don't
like
speed
noise.
things up. Yeah,
Ju-
it's just noise, and it loses all that conversational cadence that
Mhm.
it happens when more than one person is talking.
Yeah.
It's really weird, and I don't know how people can do it. I just don't.
Is that why
This is
Bob
hurt.
is so consistently wrong on everything? It's because when he watches videos, they're so sped up he can't understand it. So then he argues against something he didn't understand.
No, well, you somehow, like, I handed you a straight line and you curved it, and yet somehow it still ended up at the point you needed to be, because he doesn't understand anything, regardless of what speed it's on.
That is true.
do not say. It is a very
This
interesting
is-
quirk of the human condition that I've discovered
love
in
that
my
that-
years on this planet.
That is absolutely the thing we need to set as the foundation for this whole stream. Is how much can be said by not saying certain things. It's just
I've been trying to keep the vibe at the Stuckman household positive, and non-alcoholic. So Tiffany will not be joining us for New Year's.
So, just on a
Peace.
slight thing, just because I've really enjoyed this point, hence why I specifically pointed it out. Yeah, you say a lot more with what you don't say than what you actually say, which is
Mhm.
why, like, I made that case about bad faith, because it's like, oh, I could talk about like Bob's room's really messy, all that stuff, but it's not in the point, because it's like, oh, what am I not saying about his room? It's like, no, it's not towards the points he's making. That's why it would be an instance of bad faith. It's a
Yeah.
very important condition with how we have learned language on this planet.
Yeah. Language is very important.
Yeah, it's why actually listening to a normal person talk can sometimes feel really weird, because they have so many vocal tics that you're noticing them have, and they're just trying to get through the conversation, and you're accidentally dissecting it.
Yeah, it's that's something I have to learn to turn my brain off when it comes to.
It got into so many arguments with Sarah, our artist, because she'll say a thing, and I'm is like, so the reason you said that in that tone indicates this such and such, and she's just like, I was just saying fine.
Listen,
does
Wyatt,
fine really
you have to
mean?
understand, not everybody is built incorrectly like us.
Yeah,
The fuck?
just wanted to say, I'm not saying
That's
anything
all you-
about anything.
That's all you got. That's all he has.
That's all he had.
He
Brain
doesn't
empty.
understand that this is a joke.
yeah. So this we will get to the portion with Twitter eventually, but we're gonna watch the video first, and that's what this is. And so, yes, when someone says to you, "I'm not going to talk about Madam Web," because from what I've heard, and because this is about film celebration. You're like, wow, how
Yeah.
bad was it? Jesus.
What
Like,
are you
what-
implying? What are you implying, man?
The funny thing is
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're just listening to EFAP again. In case this somehow just gets picked up by everything, then this just spreads like wildfire. Yeah, we don't enjoy just watching someone else's content through another person.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Want to make this clear in case somehow it just like, because I don't think Mahler or the person who uploads EFAPs, I don't think they have their stuff outright copyrighted, but it would suck essentially just be like, oh, EFAP 274 copyright claim. It's like, oh shit.
yeah, no, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think Mahler would actually do that if by some chance he comes across this, because
No, yeah,
He's-
because especially since now that we're talking about it, it's like, hey, we're trying to be transformative. He doesn't have a thing to say, however.
which is weird. I would imagine that he would be like trying to like find something to say, or at least like doing something.
And to be fair, this is more of a me paranoia thing. I don't know how much you have it as opposed to me. Because remember,
Only
we
in-
watched something
Yes.
with Danny. We had his permission, and yet I still couldn't help but be like, so what does you guys think about this? Like, I had to start talking because I didn't want the video to just start playing.
Well, for the Starship Troopers, Dragon's Den, there was a copyright claim. Now, granted, it got released like an hour later, but
Was it the movie studio or him?
the movie studio.
Oh, that's fine, because, yeah, that's, like, you can dispute it as
Mhm.
always.
I just went I hit the straight to appeal function.
Yeah, I do it all the time for your
Yeah,
shit.
that usually, and it got resolved that day, and I'm like, cool. I love
Well-
this feature.
Oh yeah, that's why I share the same opinion as Short Fat Otaku. Fight the system. Like when it's being a dickhead, no, fight it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it-
definitely.
Even if it gets rejected, it's showing that you're not going to take it sitting down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was implying it was very bad. My God, you're acting like this is like some sort of deeper meaning, like he didn't say it was bad. The implication was that he thought it was very bad. Can we get to actually what he says? Like, my God.
Like, even in a parody,
I mean, that was also kind of the point where it's like he's about film celebration, and he implies
And
it's
he-
fucking awful.
Yeah, and when in all reality, he could have just not talked about Madam Web. That's ultimately the point I came across when we did our video. It's like if he really was having such an issue with this, he just shouldn't have talked about Madam Web. Instead
Yeah.
of talking, he shouldn't have talked about it at all, and instead just be like, "Hey, this is just something I wanted to talk about, regardless of any movie coming out."
Or just just say I saw
Or
Madam
this
Web.
has been on my mind for
Mhm.
quite some time.
Yeah, and then it's like, but or if you want to use Madam Web as a jumping off point, just come out and say I didn't really like it, or I don't think it was very good, or there was a lot to be desired. You can like say negative things about a movie and not like use a bunch of fucking pejoratives like I do, or Wyatt does, or Mahler does.
Or at the end of the day, even if he said he didn't like it, that's not necessarily him saying that it was a bad movie.
Exactly. And
He
then
just said that, and then
yeah,
that'd be
because
the end of it.
Chris wants to get all buddy with creative so they can potentially get him a fucking job. He doesn't.
Then
The thing about
oddly
this
enough, like I don't. That's been the biggest issue I've had because I don't even think that ass kissing. Sorry, if he was kicking ass, that'd be one thing. But no, him ass kissing. I don't even think it's gonna work.
no, it's not. It's not gonna work. Of course, it's not gonna work.
Meanwhile, even if I was the most belligerent person saying like, "Nah, fuck you," and like this is how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do this my way. Like
The thing
I
is,
lost
like,
my
I
train of
don't.
thought.
Oh, that's fine. But I don't think Chris is too morally upstanding to make it in Hollywood. Like we can call him a coward for not sharing his opinion all he wants, but he is. I would certainly argue he is a morally upstanding individual. So
I don't think he's got the energy for it. That's ultimately my thought is you got to have a certain level of actual energy.
Yeah,
And like it's it's not just like we joke that he's like, oh, it's about passion and he doesn't have any. No, it is just a certain level of energy that's being
Mhm.
expended towards the process, and Chris never gets that across.
No,
could be
not anymore.
passion-
Anyway.
You can be passionate about something. You could be not as passionate but very high energy, and you can be the other way as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said, he's just too good of a person to be in Hollywood. In Hollywood, in a lot of cases, you gotta be a shitty person. There's a lot
yeah,
of
there's-
backstabbing that goes on in Hollywood.
Well, yeah, because it's in Backstab Central in the anus of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine
Sense.
if people
I feel like
actually lived in LA?
LA doesn't. LA deserves to be turned into Cadia. There, I said it.
Acadia was a great place.
Yeah, it deserves to be turned into Cadia. No. What Abaddon did to Cadia?
You mean it deserves to be the unfortunate field of rubble that now is close to the Cicatrix Maledictum?
Exactly, but the guard are still there fighting fighting Abaddon.
Goddamn right.
I could come up with a 5-minute video, maybe even 10 minutes, praising Madam Web.
You could do it. You could give it a try, yeah.
But he doesn't want to do that. My God, are they actually going to like address any points?
You're- Let's
You're missing the point. They're
there comes a time where like your sense of humor has to kind of not always be on, but like especially when you're a performer or a content creator, you can't take everything at face value or everything super seriously.
yeah.
This is all jokes right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just like, what are they doing?
Yeah. What are they doing? And what are they doing?
Yeah, you could throw some stuff in.
Cinema wins.
And
Do that.
I could talk
Yes,
about Sydney
exactly.
Sweetie's tits for 10 minutes.
Good God,
I mean, Gary just said what we're all thinking. You know, like, that's why we, for the love of God, it's why you weren't allowed to bring the Dune popcorn bucket into fucking Madam Web, because they knew damn well what you were going to do with it.
Man, I can't wait to be. I can't wait to be a new cinephile, bro. We in the Dune 2 popcorn bucket.
Yes, I like the Dune 2 popcorn bucket without the popcorn, extra butter.
That wormussy, that dynasty.
can't wait to see Cinema
the-
Wins try to.
The popcorn bucket fitting for the Quizettes how to rap. It's made by Shai Hulud itself.
You'll know the true feeling of the weirding way.
Whoever controls the Dune popcorn bucket controls the universe. Why would they do that?
I don't know. You too can be the Muad'Dib.
So no, at least if you go into unironically you go if you watch not Black Widow, Madam Web, at least yeah, you could watch the people that are really hot in like skin tight outfits.
Yeah.
Especially especially the main actress who was literally in the BDSM movies.
Well, 50 Shades.
Yeah,
Oh.
the Madam
Oh,
Web,
she
yeah,
was.
that's Dakota Johnson. Yeah, that's fucking Anastasia or whatever her fucking name was.
Anastasia Steele, I think her name was.
When am I gonna get Tom to read that?
I don't
Just
know.
like how I got him to read the Daenerys shitting herself.
Is that recorded?
Yes, I'll
Oh.
find the video and give it to you.
Okay.
But the point that was ultimately being made by this is like, it's not impossible to make some positive points, like at Madam Web. None of them are
Yeah.
going to be said about the story.
No. I kind of want to see Madam Web now because I hear it is just a beautiful disaster.
I've heard that as well, and that gives me Morbius vibes, and I can't wait to watch it.
I haven't seen Morbius.
Oh my god, that might be what we do tomorrow.
It's after Pathfinder,
I'll-
I can morb.
I'll buy you a copy.
No, I thought Max is supposed to buy me the copy of Morbius.
He owns like how many copies? 16 copies of Morbius now.
It's
The number
Morbin
increases every
time.
But yeah, you could literally just pull unironically. You get to look at hot women for 2 hours.
Mhm.
You could probably make a point on that if if you have 5 minutes to talk about Madam Web in a positive light. Bet you can do it.
Yeah, you could also say it was also really, really funny, and then refuse to elaborate.
Talk about
Wow.
it. It's like we watched somebody die via Pepsi Sun.
Yeah.
Any points?
Yeah, you could throw some stuff in.
Cinema wins.
And
Do that.
I could talk
Yes,
about Sydney
exactly.
Sweetie's tits for 10 minutes.
Good God, I can't wait to see Cinema Wins try to.
Wow. Gary, classy take.
He's not wrong, though.
Again, really hot women. The advertising for Madam Web is literally Dakota Johnson in a skin tight spandex suit with her like reaching out to the screen. I'm pretty sure a good chunk of the poster is just her tits. In fact, keep talking. I'm gonna pull up the poster right now.
Looks like we got Chris Gore in here now. Jesus.
Make use of Madam Web. That we'll have to wait a while for that one.
He'll avoid that one. He won't do it.
Yeah, that was a difficult one,
Did he
isn't
do
it?
one for Morbius? Did he do one for Morbius?
That's a good question. I shall.
So this is a fake poster, but somebody did this. I'll put it in the call chat.
I can't see the call chat. We're in the super secret server.
Oh, that's right. Well, no, you can see it. You can't post it though.
I can't see anything that's been posted in it either.
Fine, I'll put it in the VC chat.
Yeah, you fucking better.
I don't know if anyone in your audience will be able to see that, but that's literally
No, they won't be able to, but that's fucking funny.
That's picture literally from 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh my
Yes,
god.
yes, I had to unironically watch those movies. Not fun.
Discover the
Because
truth.
if he didn't
on
do one
that.
for Morbius, my guess would be that he would not do one for Madam Web.
I mean, he's been known to target films, even the ones that are really bad, right? Sometimes.
Did he make a
But
Morbius video? Sorry.
What?
I mean, they're not even they barely scratched the surface, and they're not even fucking addressing anything he said.
It's they're
Said anything.
yeah, he hasn't really said much of anything at all at this point. Also, it's a podcast. A bunch of people come together with no script to talk about something. I'm sorry that I'm sorry that like. Well, no, Bob, you should know this. You have your fucking piece of shit friend Actual Fandom to talk things over with on his podcast.
Who's more of an ass out of the two?
I don't know. To be fair, I haven't. I've. Maybe Actual
'Cause-
Fandom.
I would honestly, it's either. I was about to say it's either Actual Fandom or Organized Chaos when it's like there's only two of them. I think Organized Chaos might be more of a shithead.
He's certainly more bad faith. Actual Fandom, like, maybe kind of puts on the veneer of someone who isn't bad faith.
Mm-hmm.
All they've said is,
So-
"Oh, you're saying."
So I found I forgot it wasn't actually the poster that I was thinking of. It's just the general advertising that they used for Madam Web. That's just has her in a skin tight.
What the fuck?
cover
That's
outfit.
no, no, that's not a real picture. That's not a real picture.
Yeah, it is for a Lenovo
Stop.
promo.
Stop. Stop this now. Stop this fucking now. What is this shit? And no
You
audience,
don't
you're
wanna-
not gonna see it. I will not curse you with this fucking
but
knowledge.
you don't want a Yoga 9i.
No.
laptop?
No.
Madam Web has one.
God, the
She
Madam
wouldn't
Web
even have it, though.
marketing was a fucking disaster.
It was. Notice how we would rather talk about anything other than organized fucking chaos.
Yeah.
A lot by not saying anything. Yeah, he is pretty much saying he didn't like the movie, but he's going into, God damn, these guys are frustrating.
We of course have everything wrong with, because of course, but I can't see in everything all the wins one. You know, I don't see it. Damn, I guess Cinema Wins did not do Morbius. See, that's cowardly. Come on, you got to get
That
in
is
there.
cowardly.
I would
You
love to
coward.
make that. That would be funny as fuck. You'd be like, you could do all the memes too. But
it's why I wish Goodell was still a thing.
Yeah, Goodell was
Like
great.
even if you're not gonna do the whole like the taking notes of every stupid thing a video has said, Goodell should have just been like, you get to just make a joke review once a year.
Yeah, Goodell was great. I miss Goodell.
I miss Goodell a lot as well. Like they could have reformatted it in some way.
Yeah.
But no, but they just stopped.
Remember his Rise of Skywalker fucking Just Right parody?
Yes.
That was amazing.
My like, and also he has made an unbridled praise. He made it for Infinity War. A
And
movie
The Father.
He says that, well, that's an actual good movie. But no, remember Infinity War. He said was like at most a 6 out of 10,
Mm-hmm.
and he still made an unbridled praise.
Yeah.
He is capable of like. This is why people like Organized Chaos, they can't see past their own bias. He
Yeah.
doesn't like, and why he's such bad faith.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wish he would actually say more things in
Oh yeah,
like,
we're almost halfway through this video, and
Yeah.
he said nothing.
anyway, the
well.
when you're about film celebration,
need
you're
to-
familiar, because of course Chris is, with almost every aspect of film creation. There's gotta be things in Madam Web you noticed that you can say, you know what, they did that pretty well. They did.
Because he doesn't want to discuss it. That's not what this video is about. Quit.
But
They
But
shouldn't
it,
have
the
made a
channel's about
video
film
it.
celebration. Would he not want to compliment Madam Web in certain aspects, while talking about how he believes the studios messed a lot of things up about it? Wouldn't he want to say, hey, despite all the studio interference, you did this well. They managed to get this across well. They managed to do this right.
There's been plenty of scrapped YARP episodes where I pretty much was talking to the guys. It's like, guys, I've gotten this film is so bad I have nothing to say.
Yeah.
Or
There's cer-
or worse, like not even worse actually. There's just sometimes I don't have as much to contribute. For example, like I didn't contribute that much to the Hellraiser video, like because that movie was just so bad, it was exhausting.
It was pretty exhausting. And then my
Plus,
dumbass watched it the night before because I didn't know we were going to watch it before.
Well, could be worse. You could be me, where I actively worked a 5-hour shift early in the morning. So I was just like, all right, let's just get this video recorded.
Well, you also decided to have that at like fucking ass crack of fucking dawn, like 6 goddamn in the goddamn morning.
I was told to be there, and I was there. because I am awful with time.
Yes, you are. I love you, buddy, but you're not good with time.
I literally was talking about this with Max. My internal compass on fucking point. My internal clock. It's been broken since I came out of the womb.
I will say this though. That day, Ninja, Max, and we watched the other 2 Jeepers Creepers movies. 2, pretty alright. 3 was magical. 3 is a magical experience.
That's right. Yeah, I remember the aftermath of that. I actually just went to sleep.
Yeah, you went to sleep while I was fucking
nap.
haggard and tired, laughing my ass off at this fucking retarded fucking movie. And there's a 4th one that I want to see.
Oh God.
Yeah, it looks so bad.
Rewriting his video.
This pretty well. They did this. They did this. They did this. You could actually.
I mean, you know,
What's crazy is you
Yeah.
could check out like quotes from the producers, even, or the
could-
director, or the writers. You could see what they said about what they did with the
well,
movie.
hell, you know, if you're struggling to fill up the runtime,
You know what? I actually just thought of this. Like, this is just a good point in general. Being able to talk positive about any topic is always just good because it shows your critical eye is willing to pick out even the smallest good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, even though I'm not good at talking about positive things, I found one very good positive thing about that trash fire. And I talked about it.
Yeah. I fucking hate the Star Wars sequel movies. They still look good.
Oh yeah, they look very good. It
They
makes
look
you forget.
amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's a Ferrari with no fucking engine.
And the music is good because that's what happens when you hold John Williams hostage in his studio.
Yeah.
Because like that moment in Rise of Skywalker, the all the ships arriving, that got me for a moment because it was playing the and it's like, oh my god, it's Star Wars again. And it's like, wait a minute, wait.
Wait. I've been fooled once. You cannot fool me again.
Yes. No.
you can do what Chris typically does, which is just name the writers and directors for no particular reason at all. Like
That's
with
like
no
a free.
Name the writers and directors for no particular. You usually name writers and directors because they frequently they were a creative voice behind the piece, and so you name them to make sure they're getting credit, especially if you're doing a positive review.
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't do that. He just names them. He doesn't like really say anything about what they specifically contributed.
Also, the normie thing is just when the movie is good. Excuse me. When the movie is good, you are able to skip past a lot of the credits because you're just like, wow, that was so good. But then when you're handed something really shit, you tend to focus on like who's responsible for this, such as Zack Snyder, David S. Goyer.
Chris Terrio.
And then but then like we're able to remember names when it's positive, but mainly just directors.
Yeah.
Nolan, Scorsese, Shyamalan, when he made the one good movie.
Yeah, The Last Airbender.
I will strike you.
What? You don't like Ong and Sokka?
I was talking about that with Sarah. At least the Netflix
or
the
Sokka.
show,
Sokka.
the Netflix show at least remembered how their names are supposed to sound.
Even though the live action show, everyone's so fucking stoic, it's fucking. I hate using this term because it's I've said it multiple times. It's a worthless way of criticizing something, but I kind of have to because it's my own personalisms. It's so boring.
I mean, something can just be boring.
Well, yeah, I just say I consider it as a worthless criticism because like, oh, that doesn't tell me anything besides your own personal like flames. I've heard people call Lord of the Rings boring.
Yeah, they just weren't in the mood for it, and are also still just wrong.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
I'll be right back. You and Organized Chaos can have a moment together. Right back.
All right. So, so in terms of the whole like listing off like directors and writers and stuff, unless that serves into like the overall point, like if we're like, oh, by the way, this the X and X thing, like if I would like in Rebel Moon, you're like, well, wow, why is this so unimaginably terrible? Well, I'll tell you why. It was directed and written by Zack Snyder, who also wrote and directed Army of the Dead, which was also fucking abysmal, which explains a lot of the things, and then you can kind of go into the various ways of his certain quirks and why, and show that he just does not know how to write. If you're just saying it was directed by the Man of Steel was directed by Zack Snyder and written by David S. Goyer, it's a story about Superman and he likes to commit genocide against his own people, and it's like fucking yeah, like just simply naming them is I don't know. I don't see any point. I don't really see much point in it aside from just telling you who did it. I don't see what that contributes at all. And I know that I've seen Chris like say, well, you know, the X director brings this touch from this work over here, which I guess would certainly be would certainly be of fuck, my brain died. You'll have to forgive me, audience. It's like 1:36 in the morning where I'm at.
So this actually could be to feed into your point. There are some directors that do bring in a lot of their style from a previous work. Edgar Wright is the best example, because a lot of the stuff that he would then use that he would use with Hot Fuzz, he learned from Shaun of the Dead, including the fact that it even has references to Shaun of the Dead with like the vending machine and the pub, that kind of stuff. But we
I need to
recognize
rewatch
it because
Shaun
they
of-
did something unique. Like they normally something was involved in their process that made their name noticeable. But if I just like I don't know the person who directed Nobody, for example. I don't know the name of the director that made John Wick 1. I know the behind the scenes things, such as the fact that the director, despite not knowing his name, I know he was one of the agents that Neo fights in the beginning of Matrix 2.
And
Like,
well,
that's a neat detail.
that is, but like just simply like saying who directed and who wrote it, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, that's nice to know, but why are you telling me this? Especially if the video is like 5 minutes long. You've wasted okay, that's precious time you could have done to put forth towards the review.
Yeah, if you're into short term stuff, yeah, you gotta be concise and you gotta get to the point.
Yeah, you got to go
Whereas
straight for
when
the
you do-
jugular right off the bat.
Whereas if you're doing long form content like ours, you have a bit of wiggle room to say like uh David S. Goyer, like say we're talking about Man of Steel, we could go on about like how like this is part of a habit, because how he also wrote a lot of Lost.
And
How he
Blade.
yeah, and Blade, and just you talk about how it's a continuous pattern with this writer, like Michael Waldron, when he was writing Multiverse of Madness, he was and Loki, wasn't it?
Yeah, Loki, the first season.
He was talking about how he would took that experience of making Loki and be like, all right, so what is the character? I don't know what the character is doing in the next scene. It's just like, I'm sorry, what?
You're the writer. That's your job to figure it out. Like, if can you not, like, I can't visualize what this character's doing in the next scene. It's like, did you forget what you wrote previously?
Or did you just not have anything written? Because if you
Yeah.
didn't have anything written, you're a shit writer.
Yeah. And oh, would you look at that?
That's when we mention names, Bob.
Yep, not just because to tell us
And
who
Chris,
wrote it.
technically.
Yeah, and Chris just name drops them because he wants to get buddy with the people in Hollywood, get all those coke and sex parties.
Do you you love the raid, and so do I, but you've loved it more than me because you've been more exposed to it.
Oh yeah.
Do you even know who fucking directed the raid?
No, I know it was some white dude. I think that's all I
And
know.
there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. He made a phenomenal movie.
Yeah, and like while it's unfortunate you don't know his name, that's not the end of the world.
No, it's not. Watch the raid. The first raid is on Netflix. If people have Netflix, watch it. It is so good.
We just watched it out of nowhere. We were supposed to watch. I threw on a different movie. Oh yeah, Kindergarten Cop. But it was
Yeah.
like, you know what, we need something faster paced, so we just watched the raid.
Yeah, I'm glad Archie, glad I suggested that.
Yeah, makes me like the second we were done watching it and you went to bed, I was tempted to just rewatch the whole movie again.
No, what you should have done is you should have started the second one.
I mean, I'll watch when I'm by myself. In the instance of watching the raid 2, I'm gonna watch that with you guys.
Oh yeah, the raid 2 is so... I don't know if I haven't watched it in a while. I would argue, while I really like the raid 2 and it's in the final fight, it's probably the best in terms of the one-on-one fights in all of the in both of the movies. I would say the raid 1 is probably the better movie, just in terms of overall structure.
Yeah,
It's
I've
a lot
heard a
more
lot of
simple.
people say that.
Yeah, but raid 2 is still pretty good.
Man, I'm tired.
He does, right? Because right at the beginning, he usually says,
Oh,
this film was...
Hi, tired. I'm dad.
I will strike you.
You strike me down, and I will become more powerful than you can
written
possibly
by,
imagine.
directed by, at the beginning, but he didn't do that with this one.
This isn't a review.
Right.
So it's
You,
not
you haven't even gone into the video. You don't know. God, this is frustrating.
that
Which-
format. But if he did, he
Which-
could.
Which doesn't at
And
all...
the thing is,
Go ahead.
Bob, they're also talking about their past experiences with Chris when they're talking about Chris, because that's what normal people do.
And also, not to be all it's their right, but it is their podcast. They can talk whatever the fuck they want.
I mean, yeah, he's just expressing his frustration of what of his own like flames, right? I don't think he's like saying that they can't do that. He's just getting frustrated. It's like how we're fucking frustrated with him not saying anything.
I understand, but there's give and take. Like, the reason I'm frustrated at Bob for not saying anything is because this is an edited video. He could very easily just cut out the bits where he's not talking.
That's true.
Whereas we're watching an EFAP, which was a live stream that then got ported over as a recording.
Yeah.
Like, there's a clear difference here. That's why I'm not as charitable to this.
That's true. That's fair.
yeah. No, go for it.
I was going to say, which doesn't at all put the idea in someone's head of why aren't you naming the people that were responsible for this?
Well,
Say their
who was
names.
responsible
Say their
for it, though?
names.
That's- Who is responsible for Madam Web? Who could know? It's not like it's in the film.
responsible.
At the end of the film, it doesn't say who is responsible for what given task.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, Chris should have named names.
He
Like,
did
or at the very
though. He did name the director.
No, I meant more like if you're gonna talk shit on producers, talk about the most infamous producer. Talk about Avi Arad. Wait, that's how you pronounce his name?
I have no idea. Was he like the head of Sony?
Oh, you don't know
now?
about Avi Arad? Yeah,
No.
this guy is pretty. So you know how like Spider-Man 3 is like total dog shit.
Oh, he was the one that says put Venom in it?
Yep, he's that guy.
Oh,
He loves Venom, and he wanted him to be in everything, and then he finally got his Venom movie. But he's made Despite that, he is like part of the reason as to why Spider-Man 1 and 2 were good, because he was attached to those projects. Like, that's the whole thing about being a producer, like, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But if Chris is like trying to slam producers, he's got the easiest target you could ever fucking go for.
Yeah. But also I have to remember the director was also the producer of Madam Web.
That's
Like,
again,
CS.
something he doesn't bring up because he didn't do research.
No. He either didn't do research or he kind of realized it's like, well, I can't do that now, can I?
It's like you very much could, Chris.
But
You
how
just
am I
not be
supposed
a
to get
coward.
into Hollywood?
Maybe don't get into Hollywood because it's not worth your fucking time.
He has a very successful YouTube channel. He can just make like short films and like put them to his YouTube channel or something. After maybe he's like a more successful. Like, after like maybe a couple months when it's like on Amazon Prime or whatever, and like the revenue kind of maybe stops coming in as much, and then he could say, "All right, I'll just put it on my YouTube channel."
Or he could write a book that's not shit.
Oh
Like,
yeah, his fucking, what was it, 50
I was-
movies of the 2000s to watch.
Yeah, and he describes them as if you've already seen them. And also the films that are in it are so basic. But the point
The
is,
first
like,
one is The Force Awakens, the number at the top of the list.
yeah, it's The Force Awakens, and then he's got like, he with No Country for Old Men, he did the thing he did with Blade Runner, where he forced himself to watch it over and over and over.
Listen, if a movie's not clicking with you after a couple watches, it's fine. You can say this is not for
Yeah,
you.
we watched Tender Sugar, and you didn't click with it like at all.
Watched what?
Henry Sugar, that Wes Anderson movie with Benedict Cumberbatch learning how to read cards.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, that didn't really click with me that much.
Yeah, a movie can be really good and just not click with certain people.
Yeah.
No, it's a mystery. It's
It is.
elusive.
Group justice.
Yeah, off to a good start.
In the film, I'm going to tell you that this is not a movie review of Madam Web. I am not about bashing filmmakers, artists. I know how.
What are you implying?
So this is where
Um,
I feel like a lot of people are not even listening to not only his video, but the clip that Lauren provided on Twitter. He's either a very bad speaker, or he just said something that's pretty blatant. I will not review the film because I am not into bashing filmmakers or creatives.
That's just bashing it. That's just with more words.
You're ignoring the greater context of the video that he's about ready to go into, for fuck's sake.
How can they ignore the greater context if some of them haven't seen the greater context or commenting on what they just saw, you fucking retard?
That, and again, like, this is like multi-layered fucking shit because Bob here has just drank the Kool-Aid of that Chris Stuckman. Like, he thinks that Stuckman very clearly said the movie was shit when half his audience was just like, no, he wasn't saying the movie was shit. Like, it's like his own film, like, you brought this up in the comments, even his own fans are raking him over the coals for this fucking video.
Yeah. They're fucking burning him. They're giving him shit. Angry Joe set him on fucking fire.
Joe is very interesting in the sense of Joe, when it comes to things that aren't video games, he is very much an instance of stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Because the second he starts talking about movies and TV, something about him just breaks.
Yeah, it's really weird. He gave The Predator like a 6 out of 10, and I'm like, did we watch the same movie? Did we watch the same movie? I think he thought the Snyder Cut was good, and it's like, stop. He gave Man of Steel a 9 out of 10 when it first came out.
He gave Loki episodes 9s and 10s.
Jesus fuck.
Yeah. Like, it's just an instance of like, I'm sorry, Joe, but like, you can keep making these reviews if you want, but it's very clearly, at least from my perspective, a stay in your lane type thing.
Yeah. Which is also one reason why I'm kind of hesitant to get into video games because, like, well, what if I'm just not good at describing video games?
Hey, I know I'm shit at them.
No, describing them like whatever. That's a whole other thing.
No, yeah, like remember, I tried doing game reviews. It is hard to talk about the actual mechanics and stuff if you are just a narrative person.
Yeah.
Because as far as you're concerned, like if you're somebody like me where narrative takes like top priority, that controller just may as well not exist. But the problem is ultimately you loop back with the fact that this is a video game. So
Yeah.
you can't disregard the controller.
This is true. This is very true. But I don't know. One day it'll probably be Pokemon Coliseum, but one day. But back to
Yes.
fuck. What were we talking
Yeah,
about?
the
Oh yeah,
point-
Angry
The
Joe.
point
Angry
that I
Joe.
was making, was that Bob over here is pretty much saying like, oh, like you're completely missing the overall point when it's like, and we've paid attention to the points of both EFAP and of Chris Stuckman. He genuinely has not, he's not bashing the film. He doesn't think he's bashing the film when, as far as we're concerned, because we understand how the human language works, he's very much talking shit.
Yeah. It was
And we don't even know and the funniest thing is we don't even know if he's doing it on purpose.
I don't think he is doing it on purpose. I think he's just trying, by tiptoeing around it. It's like I'm not going to eat this sandwich in front of these starving homeless people. Right? That's just I'm not going to do it. But but while he's doing it, he's like eating it, trying to eat it faster so it's gone, so he doesn't eat it in front of them, but he's inadvertently eating it in front of them.
Why address somebody's arguments when you could take cheap pot shots at his wife? What a bunch of dickless morons.
Well, they didn't take cheap pot shots at his wife.
They didn't, yeah.
Like Rags mentioned, like fucking like Tiffany or whatever at dinner, but like he wasn't like taking pot shots at his wife. What the fuck are you talking about? Good God! I hope if I ever get any kind of substantial fan base, they aren't this retarded.
I mean, they'll be following you.
I know they'll be retarded, but they won't be this retarded.
If you actually watch the goddamn video,
are you saying that I am as retarded as Bob?
I mean, your intelligence is greater than a worm. So that
Hey.
puts you more like equal.
Fuck you. Then what does that make you? The dirt that the worm crawls in?
Oh, I'm just a rock. Not even a living organism.
I got a rock, and it's just like fucking your fucking face like
It's
on
ju-
the rock.
it's just my face that plays Seinfeld theme.
you know what he's going into.
what
Context
he
of the
said.
video that he's about ready to go into. For fuck's sake. If you actually watch the goddamn video, you'd know what he's going into.
They're responding to it point by point. It's called Every Frame a Pause, you fucking mongoloid.
Yeah, you're just saying if I did a review, it would be full of all the terrible
it's more
negative
than
things
that,
that I
though.
would say.
It's on top of that, it's the implication that movie criticism as a practice in general is film bashing.
Exactly. Review equals bashing, which is interesting.
He didn't say that.
No, they're getting into the overall points of what it means to like be a critic, kind of. Like
Yeah, and they're also probably just talking about previous interactions with Chris as well, referencing those.
like it just feels, I don't know, the point that he's stopping at, I feel like what he clipped onto that's not even like the greater point of what should be addressed.
No. But then again, Bob doesn't really watch EFAP that often, I don't think.
Yet they live rent free in his head.
Exactly.
That makes it even worse.
I know.
These guys are insufferable.
Pot, stop calling the kettle black.
No, you know what? No. Fucking Bob. You know, at the end of the day, like, regardless of of what you think of EFAP, you could do something else.
True.
Like, I've seen plenty of just streamers, they're just doing something and then they just do another thing.
Yeah. You didn't have to do this. You didn't have to go to EFAP, but I think when you talk about Mauler and Drinker and all of them, that's where you get the most of your views, because when you try and do something else, you can barely get 200 people to fucking watch your shit. Despite having like 27,000 subs, you can't even get 10% of them to watch unless you look out when talking about, Drinker and EFAP and stuff, and even then it's just slightly higher than your average. You have about, I want to say, like, at least 5 times more subs than me. My math no good. But whatever, you have way more than me, and yet for some reason when I have a better sub to view ratio than you do. Get on my level, Bob.
No, it's even worse when I have a healthier sub to view ratio than fucking Bob here.
Yeah.
Because we're even smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like he should be getting at least 1,000 views a video. He has like nearly 30k subs.
No, he should be averaging around 2 or 3. Okay.
I'm listen. All right, I'm giving him an data.
Well, no, it's because I'm trying to think of, like, with what I do know about YouTube analytics, for his channel to be considered healthy, fuck, he would have to be
getting 10% of his subscriber rate, I think.
And then that would
be about 2 to 3k.
Yeah, or 1 to 2.
1 to 2.
It might be sitting somewhere in like 1.5 or something.
But then
the numbers, the point still stands. The number would need to be much higher.
But then again, he if I'm remembering a video he made correctly, is that right when the Organized Chaos channel was starting to pick up steam, that's when all of the negative reviewers were coming in and sapped away all the views from me, and it's like, well,
that's right. I forgot he made that point.
Yeah.
That that he lost momentum, essentially. When it's just like,
if you lost momentum,
that's not what
happened. If you lost momentum, your content was shit. Like,
oh yeah. Like when when he brought up, it's like, I don't know how anyone can consistently watch Chris Stuckman and only him, because as soon as they'd find somebody better, they would just stop watching him.
I mean, with Jeremy Johns, when I found someone better, I stopped watching him. Now, granted, I'm not saying Jeremy Johns is bad. It's just Jeremy Johns is the better Chris Stuckman.
I've realized, like, I kind of am that stereotype of the of long form content where I like to, if it's under half an hour, I tend to just be like, ugh, gross.
Same kind of.
But at the same time, like, Jeremy did really good videos, and also when he has a point on something, he'll make a spoiler filled review and talk about the things he really did and did not like. He's able to express his opinion a lot more fluently, all while cutting out his breaths.
Yeah, and
he's probably the best example on how you should actually cut out your own breaths.
And we also have to take consideration that Jeremy's spoiler reviews are longer than the non-spoiler review, unlike with Chris, in which his spoiler review, I think it was of Avatar 2, was shorter than his initial review.
Gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, I think we actually like we were going through his channel. We
went through his channel, and it's just so like, how does this man have almost nothing to say?
While having 2 million subscribers. Why try?
To rewrite his script for him, knowing what I know about him, I would have said, what you should say is, I know a lot of you might have expected some kind of hilariosity review, but as you know, for several years I've retired those, and I'm more about trying to find the films in the world that sort of...
Exactly, Taki. This is an editorial.
Inspire, and that Madam Web didn't inspire me in any particular way. So instead of talking about the film, I wanted to talk about something that's happening in like the industry. That's what you could have said, but no, you said I'm not going to review it because I don't want to bash it.
Yeah, I don't want to bash filmmakers. I'm not going to review Madam Web, and it's like, oh my goodness gracious, you just did that though, Chris.
Yeah, you could have been way more diplomatic, and then you chose not to be.
Yeah.
So he words it differently than you would have. He still words it very clearly.
No. It's not that he words it different. He words it differently. It's just that he does the thing he says he's not going to do.
Well, he words it differently in the sense that he words it incredibly bad.
Yeah, he words it incorrectly.
The implication was, essentially, I went to Madam Web, I didn't like it, and I want to discuss the studio system that went into creating a shitty movie like this. That was the entire implication of his goddamn video, which, I mean, I don't even know if you've gotten to that point because you can't watch it.
What, are you one of those fucking retards that says they should watch the entire video and then talk about it later, after it's done?
God. Which was exactly like one of the points that was made against him during the React Wars.
Yeah.
That they should just watch it all, then react. And it's like, that's stupid.
But then again, Bob should do the same thing. Like, hey Bob, maybe you should wait till they get to that point in the video and hear what they have to say at that point in the video, instead of just complaining about certain things that, at points in the video they haven't gotten to yet. I mean, you are keeping true to your word. You are going into it very bad faith.
Is that the reason why this video isn't edited? Because we're almost 13 minutes in. If he did edit out all those times he doesn't say something, this video would only be like a minute long.
Yeah, it would not be very long.
And also,
but I think he's saying,
yeah.
What I think he's saying without saying it is, I'm better than you. Better than you. No, I'm serious.
Well, I don't think he's saying I'm better than his audience, but for my personal opinion, he's better than everybody on the EFAP crew right now. Easy.
No.
Get those fucking words out your goddamn mouth.
No, even if you want to, even regardless of what your personal feelings about Mahler or Fringy or whoever, Mahler makes factually better videos on his main channel than Chris. That's just that's not for debate. I will fucking debate you on this, Bob.
Chris's whole thing, Suckman's whole thing, is that the appeal of his reviews is that he's able to tackle it from the perspective of a filmmaker.
Yeah. This is
in and of itself, even if he's not outright saying it, he can his audience at least very much does view this as he's better than your normal reviewer because of his perspective.
Yeah.
And that can kind of come across especially when you analyze his content, that can come across as a bit shit because it doesn't say a fucking thing.
The
It's
resistance.
like
I'm
because
Yeah.
not
Could you
gonna fall in.
imagine? Could you imagine what like how your review process would change if you started gaining like a incredible amount of insight from the industry?
Man, my review process would change quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I'd have to if Yarp suddenly like we were all making films and shit and we were learning all sorts of new things, that like fuck me, we'd have to restructure the entire show. Be like, no. So we should break this down as to like why this film's editing works so much, and then Max would probably be like, no, why the camera work is so great. Like and like how, and then we of course still talk about the writing. There he has
Honestly,
all the like if he has this perspective and he doesn't do anything with it.
no, he doesn't. Because because part of me thinks that he knows that if he used this perspective, he would look at a lot of these movies and go, "What the hell were you what the fuck were you guys doing? Like, writing a movie's hard, but it isn't this hard."
That's what honestly, like that's why I always have to come to this, like I always have to humble myself every once in a while saying like, yeah, I think I don't want to say like I'm a great writer, but I know I'm at least competent.
Same.
Like I know like, and it's why honestly I don't think I could write anything that original. But at the same time, you give me something like Star Wars or fucking the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I could fucking whip you up a great goddamn story.
I could probably do
The
something
page-
decent for Ruby, but
It's
that's
like,
but hey, Rooster Teeth,
Ah.
sorry, Warner Brothers, give that to me. Give it to
Oh.
me.
I'll buy it for $2.
I'll give you $5 for it. But that's all I'm gonna buy it for.
Elbow has a T-Rex and a Go Fish card.
What sucks is that Death Battle is being put on hiatus until they figure out what to do. I think they could probably easily survive without Rooster Teeth, but they're probably gonna have to go back to monthly episodes.
There's a lot of Craig's audience. So I found out who that person I was talking about that does side scrollers. That's
Mhm.
Craig, the former owner of fucking Screw Attack. So with
Ugh.
everything happening, he's like, should I just buy Screw Attack back?
Just buy. Oh, just buy it. Sure.
I think he should, because wouldn't that would give him back Death Battle, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'd be Screw Attack again, and then you could have a bunch of people that keep calling them Screw Attack, even though they haven't been Screw Attack for like 6-7 years at this point.
Are they still making that issue?
People still call them Screw Attack.
That's funny because they've been part of Rooster Teeth for like 5+
Yeah,
years.
people call them fucking Screw Attack for like, it's like, oh, Screw Attack always does this. They're not Screw Attack anymore, you retard.
So I always fucked with myself on this instant because I forgot Screw Attack had other things.
They did have other things. The thing is, even after they were bought by Rooster Teeth, they still called themselves Screw Attack. It's just that the majority of stuff they produced was just Death Battle. So at some point, they're just like, fuck it, we're just Death Battle now.
Yeah, that was just probably the smartest decision.
Oh, yeah, easy.
Everyone, I do, like, for the most part, I do hope everybody lands on their feet. Because I haven't been as burned by it, like, by just Rooster Teeth bullshit like Jake has, but at the same time, like, fuck me, I've been thinking about this ever since the closure was announced, like Red versus Blue.
I don't even think
Achievement Hunter.
They were in Red vs. Blue was having their final season. It's real this time, and I don't think it even got to air.
No, it's still gonna air.
Okay.
So in case anyone wasn't aware, with the Rooster Teeth shutting down, it's closing its doors in May. We still have like 2 whole months left of stuff. I'm really sad that like I know everybody that was there has already moved on to bigger and better things, like Gus, Bernie, Lawrence, and Bruce from fucking Funhouse. Everybody's like they've gone their separate ways. Alana, who now works at Santa Monica Studios, terrifying. But like Rooster Teeth used to really fucking mean something.
Oh yeah, Rooster Teeth was that fucking thing where it was like, hey, look, a bunch of fucking autists managed to take nothing and make it something.
Yeah, it's the internet version of the American dream.
Yeah, and then I think it was around the time, I think, volume 5 or 6 of RWBY was being made when they decided to put everything towards making Genlock. The amount of money that was spent on Genlock.
Rooster Teeth's they're trying to find major buyers for RWBY and Genlock.
Yeah.
They're not gonna find them.
No, I don't even think...
RWBY might survive somehow.
Genlock probably. I mean, Genlock was a fucking failure. Like season 2. I mean, I only watched like.
I haven't finished season 1.
Neither did I. But like, yeah, no. Genlock was if Genlock wasn't dead on arrival, which it kind of was, but not really. It was in this weird it was lukewarm reception, basically. So when season 2 dropped, I didn't even know they made a season 2.
And then there was just like when they tried to make actual films. Did you ever watch Laser Team?
No, I didn't. Was it any good?
I didn't watch it.
Oh.
You think I'm gonna support I'm gonna go to fight? I don't even like the idea of companies having their own individual cons. Like I fucking loathe the idea of RTX. So you think I was gonna go see the Rooster Teeth movie?
I don't know. And then of course that was just, and then of course the whole shit with the forced unpaid overtime.
Yeah, then
the hostile working environments, despite preaching about inclusion and stuff, high levels of transphobia behind the scenes,
hiring people and then hiring people just to fill in continuous boxes, and then people that would later stab them in the back. I'm talking about Caden in this example. Who pointed out like, oh, they used all this harsh language and all this kind of stuff. Points at a video, like a compilation when Caden was still a man, actively like saying the N-word. Internet's like a funny beast. It has the same memory of this Eldritch horror. Never always remember what you say, kids. It will come back to bite you in some form or another.
Man, fucking Miles got the fuck out. Like, good on time. He was able to fucking, like, tank Ruby.
No, you want to talk about people who got out just in time. No, Ray.
Ray? Oh, Ray.
Ray from Achievement Hunter. Yeah. He was one of the first people of Rooster Teeth to just get the fuck out.
Yeah. And
then, Lawrence and Bruce left Funhouse. Bernie left as CEO.
Yeah, he had his wife. He had his new wife. He had his fucking Tesla. He got the fuck out.
Yeah. He got the success he wanted.
I'm gonna be so disappointed if Ruby doesn't like finish. I need that train to finally fucking crash. Like you have no idea.
Well, no, yeah, I know I don't have any idea because I'm watching you edge yourself, just like like offering to buy it because you're just like, I'll fucking crash this train myself if I have to.
No, if I were to buy it, I'd
get me more money.
If I were to buy it, I would hit the hard reset and start from fucking scratch.
I think I'd buy it, and then specifically in the opening episode, just just some text come across the screen like really fast that you need to like analyze it in slow motion, and the words are just "fuck you, Jake."
God damn it! Shut up.
then a split second flash of like some Yang and oh fuck, what's the other?
Blake.
Come on, I can do Blake. Damn it! I thought I could do this. Through
No.
osmosis, I could gain your knowledge.
No, you don't have this show autistically burned in your fucking mind.
I have yeah, because then it would replace, like, worst case scenario, it would replace his Star Wars knowledge.
Yeah.
And I would rather have an actual lobotomy than
Back when I first liked the
that.
show, like from one of my like bad reviews of Volume 1, I wrote the entire script from fucking memory, and I got everything correct. That's how much it's burned in my mind.
Okay, since we're just autistically flexing on each other, I
Yeah.
literally have Empire Strikes Back memorized that while I was getting a root canal, I just started watching it in my head.
That's just sad. That's just sad.
Fuck you. You literally just said you have the script memorized.
No.
I at least can associate images in my head.
No, like I had the entire first volume memorized, and I wrote a script from that. That's what I'm talking about. Cause I am built. Cause my level of incorrectly builtness is better than your level of incorrectly builtness.
We're like Goku and Vegeta when it comes to our levels of autism.
Speaking of autism,
there's
let's
Max. He's Krillin.
He's out there getting the fine bitches while we're squabbling over like what.
Who can get the biggest form?
Yes. Anyways, we got to get back to
what
organized
you,
chaos.
the
It is
lesser
late.
people would want to do.
Yes.
Those hedonists.
Yeah,
Yeah, who watches this shit? This is insufferably boring. Jesus Christ.
You cannot say that. You can't say that. I'm sorry. You have no self-awareness then.
Bob, you're so boring that I actually was just listening to the EFAP and actually forgot you were here multiple times.
I stopped doing solo recordings because I can't do shit by myself, because I stuff by myself with no script is boring to watch. I know. I've watched it.
Put me in a against a video I can really get my claws into. I could do it.
Probably the same with me, but I had to really try.
Mm-hmm.
he's being, in my opinion, kind of an elitist prick, but like also
He's being an elitist prick. You watched like 30 seconds of the fucking video.
They're familiar with his content. The last thing Chris Gore was on. By the way, like, you want to talk about somebody who's an actual like film reviewer? You look at Chris Gore, right, fucking over there, and he goes to like press events and shit, and he even made a film. So he actually has a bit more of a fucking perspective than fucking Chris Stuckman.
I don't know who Chris Gore is, so
that's fine. I would highly recommend his content, and he shows up on a lot of podcasts. The point that I'm making, however, is like, one, he said like oh, it's the first 30 seconds. The Chris Gore has been around. His EFAPs have just been Chris Stuckman videos.
Mm-hmm.
So they've got a bit of a repertoire going.
So you can continue. I have to go take my meds. It is almost 2:30 in the morning.
That's fair.
I think we'll be able to finish it, but if we don't,
Yeah, we'll be able to finish it. Go take your meds.
Yeah. But just let the audience know, if we do not finish the video, I am not doing a part 2.
Hell, I'll fucking do this myself if I have to.
Okay, Thanos.
Fuck.
it stirred a whole. And Mahler, I think I sent you a link to a story which I thought was awful about, can movie critics be filmmakers?
Right.
There are a lot of critics who are filmmakers. I'm one of them. John Campea made a documentary about movie trailers. Stuckman's made a movie. I think there's clips in one of the videos I sent you. Like,
Oh,
no,
Robert
what
might
he's
have done
saying
that
is
as
like,
well.
I'm better than you. I'm better than you because I'm not going to do this. Also, I might end up working for a studio, so I don't want to say these things, which is sort of.
He spends the video bashing the Sony studio system that made the movie.
But not enough that it would actually make a dent in his career. That's the thing. He half-assed it, Bob. If you like, that's why if we were making this type of video, or no, we talk about this all the time when it comes to like advertisements and all that stuff. We have genuinely said "fuck you" to people. Like that's. If you're gonna bash something, you have to commit.
That's the primary goal of his video, is that Sony is not respecting their Spider-Man property and is making shit movies. Maybe, probably not the best move, if he's doing what you're implying and sucking up to studio systems.
So I'm just gonna use this as a way to go on not a side tangent, just a funny point that is always brought up when they keep making these weird fucking movies. They keep making movies based off Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery. You know what would make these movies like monumentally work, or just like they'd work and they would be monumentally better for it? You put Spider-Man in it. You have access to as many Spider-Men as you want, Sony, whether it be Garfield, Toby, or even using Tom. You could even say fuck it and start using Miles in a live action format. You've endless potential, and for Spider-Man villain movies, you refuse to have the webhead in it. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing I've ever fucking seen. Jake's meds on the other side of the ship he's on? What's going on?
I don't know. I think he's making his intentions pretty plain.
It makes me feel like he's it's just I'm good and I'm better than you in a way that we would consider him lesser than us.
These people are insufferable.
You know, I've matured. I've grown.
I was like, I'm going to temper my opinions and decide what I am and am not going to cover because of my aspirations and who might be upset by that in terms of who I want to work.
He said that we've gotten like 30 seconds of video and these guys are just filling time, essentially pretending to understand what's going through his head.
You have had minutes of your video just be their video. You do not get to talk about wasting anyone's time.
Sorry, I'm late. I found my cat had a little bit of an accident and pooped on the floor a little bit.
This is Prometheum or something? I don't know. I for some reason said that your medicine was on the other side of your ship, and I think it's because I'm staring at your profile picture of Vulcan, but with Michael Clark Duncan's face.
I mean, Michael Clark Duncan would have made a great live-action Vulcan.
How did he pass away?
Heart attack, I think.
Ah, too soon.
He was only like 52, 53.
He could have outlived all of us. Just like Betty White.
The fact Betty White died before her 100th birthday is upsetting.
I genuinely thought Betty White was just gonna outlive me, just because, like, for some reason, I have this view of Betty White as this eldritch horror that just keeps on trucking. But no, we found out that she is mortal.
I mean, like no, she just shed her physical form.
She'll be back. She'll be back with the other spirits of the Golden Girls. Or will the spirits of the Golden Girls fight her?
They'll probably fight her.
Kaiju B. Arthur versus Kaiju Betty White.
Jesus, no. The world is not ready for such.
the ultimate Golden Girls reunion. I'd watch the shit out of that. Jake, when are we gonna go on a Golden Girls arc?
I don't know if I want to.
You will.
What is it with people watching Golden Girls in their youth?
It's either what's funny is I was watched Golden Girls and then Mythbusters back to back. Whenever it'd be a commercial for Mythbusters, Golden Girls would be on. When it would be a commercial for Golden Girls, back to Mythbusters. Every single day.
Well, alrighty then. That's
Golden Girls was actually just funny.
I don't think I've seen Golden Girls.
Back to what Bob was saying.
I'm going to temper my opinions and decide what I am and am not going to cover because of my aspirations and who might be upset by that in terms of who I want to work.
He said that we've gotten like 30 seconds of video, and these guys are just filling time. Essentially,
oh, right. Now I remember my point. Yeah. This is, again, people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Your video is over 15 minutes, and you've let mostly their video play.
Yeah, and they're literally just covering the video as it goes along, Bob. Like what you're doing. Like what the like what the fuck?
Except EFAP has things to say.
Yeah. Like again, it's like I said before. Like when you said you're gonna go in like with bad faith, oh, I believed you, and you are living up to that promise. It's never a good thing.
Plus,
to say
it invalidates you almost immediately.
Exactly.
Jake, how much would you value my opinion of Dune if I fucking said that I went into part 2 like ready to hate it?
I would say, well, your opinion's just kind of, I don't really care about it.
Yeah, because of course I was like, if I was just spouting negative bullshit, it's like, yeah, I set myself up.
Like in Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire, like I'm going in dreading it, but like I'm not gonna go to like hate it. I'm just gonna go and see. Okay, well, how bad is it gonna be?
I'm gonna give that movie its fair shot. I'm more annoyed at the whole process it's gonna take to get to my theater. Because I just keep realizing, man, there's only like 2 good movie theaters in my area. I'm not even saying that as like a spoiled moviegoer or.
Now, I will say something a bit nice about it. From the trailers I've seen, the action does look better than Godzilla vs. Kong, at least. Like, I mean, it looks like it might actually be better choreographed, hopefully.
It's probably gonna look beautiful as always.
No, I'm just talking about like the actual choreography of the fights, because Godzilla vs. Kong fights were choreographed horrendously. Like they were they were stupid. They made no sense.
Yeah, but they had a reference where he shoved the axe into his mouth, like how he shoved the tree into Godzilla's mouth. Don't you understand?
Except that the tree was actually better because he forced that shit in there.
Now, don't you understand? He's got the axe. They've got the King Ghidorah, Mechagodzilla. He's got the magic rock downloaded into his system.
Jesus Christ! God, apparently the deaf girl. I think they're hinting at she has like psychic powers or some shit.
I love how they keep replacing their cast, except for like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, all right, we keep Millie Bobby Brown and we keep the black guy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Skarsgård, get him out of here.
I miss Ford. Bring back Ford.
I miss Bryan Cranston.
Fuck it, resurrect Bryan Cranston. Bring him back to life.
No. No, kill this fucking series. Put it in the grave as hard as possible.
I mean, I agree, but like, it's I miss Ford.
We've unfortunately proven that Hollywood can't be trusted with Godzilla.
They made one decent one.
But then 3 shit ones.
I know, but like they clearly can make something halfway competent.
And before that, they made Godzilla in 1998. America, unfortunately, can't be trusted with the brand.
Except they can if they give it the right hands. Because we have we have a reference that America can make a decent Godzilla movie. We have a reference. It exists.
As far as investors, not investors, as far as like the normies are concerned, like, nope, get it out of here.
But that one made the most money out of them. Like, that one made $500 million. Now, granted, Godzilla vs. Kong's box office was impressive because that was still in the middle of COVID.
That was COVID, yeah.
Yeah, so if it wasn't COVID, that probably would have made more money. And if we're just looking at pure numbers, Godzilla 2014 made the most money in terms of, like, box office. So, I mean, you know.
Pending to understand
That's
what's
what I
going
thought.
through his head. These guys want to argue, like, the fans of you EFAP fans. I know you're probably going to watch this video, especially if I cut this up, because, oh my god, I'm covering EFAP. You guys will come in and be like, I'm bad faith.
You are bad faith.
You literally just said...
Yeah.
This is bad faith. This is the very goddamn essence of bad faith. They are putting words in his mouth non-stop during this thing. They're saying, you know, he's stuck up, he's elitist, he's
because they've dealt with Chris Stuckman before, and their experience with him. They're referring to the past experience with Chris Stuckman. This is what happens when you don't watch them. This is what happens when you don't pay attention.
Also, did we and the people who actually defend Chris Stuckman, did we just watch a completely different video from them?
I guess.
Because it was clear as day that he just kept backhanding Madame Web, and yet, like, we see it as complete accident, and yet his audience is like, he's very clearly on purpose saying the movie is shit.
Yeah, and like, again, it's like, I'm not here to bash on movies. It's about film celebration. It's like, oh, so you're bashing on the movie without bashing on the movie. Congratulations, Chris.
You played yourself.
Exactly. But they're talking about their past experiences with Chris Stuckman, Bob. You're not even like potentially asking that question, like, have they responded to Chris Stuckman before? Maybe this is like stuff.
Oh yeah, this is a perfect moment to do research. Pulling up EFAP's previous, literally just Googling EFAP Chris Stuckman.
Yeah, it's easy.
This isn't hard. How many times have we just been doing our thing and I just Google something?
Exactly. But again, yeah, Bob, you are bad faith. You said you were going to go into this video with bad faith. So, like... And the thing is, they're also assuming that if you're watching EFAP 274, you've at least watched a couple beforehand.
Yeah. Granted, like, there is the instance of, like, every EFAP is always somebody's first EFAP. Yeah. I would very much be amazed what somebody who saw this as the very first EFAP, what they thought. Because, yeah, this is very much building upon past knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
System. He's saying people are bad for giving a bad review to Madame Web. Which are things that are absolutely not said and are not the topic of the video he makes whatsoever. So rather than actually address any issues he talks about in his video, they are just essentially setting up a straw man Chris Stuckman for them to tear down and make fun of. Such.
Well, you don't need to do that to make fun of Chris Stuckman.
He's his own straw man.
Yeah.
Except the straw isn't even fresh.
No, it's like rotting and moldy and made out of Movie Bob.
Oh.
Bullshit.
That's just an unfortunate, like, pause on pause. Let's say.
Bullshit.
Work for it. Which is like, we all know it. Like, that's what the game
Right.
is.
Yeah, but-
You know,
well,
we
the
all
thing
know.
is that
He's going,
that's
no, I'm
obviously
good
what
because
it
of
is.
it.
Well, it's like, no, it's not. It's not the kind of person I want to be. And it's like, no, it's just you don't want to step on the wrong. You know, you don't want to step on anybody's toes, basically.
Yeah,
You wanna
if the
make sure
wizard
that you
visited
can
him and told him,
be
well,
all-
He spends a whole video bashing Sony.
Yeah, but he also praised A24.
He also,
Like-
again, didn't know that the director of Madam Web was incredibly proud of her movie.
Yeah, he didn't know that at all. But like, yeah, he's bashing Sony, but he praised A24. And the thing is, sometimes it's not about it's about who you know in Hollywood. And again, he thinks he can get buddy with certain creatives, and that he might land a job, a gig, like either like working with them, or like they reference him to, like I said, A24, which I think would be a studio that Chris would prefer to work under. Like they even say that in this EFAP that like A24 would probably be the studio Chris would want to work for. So.
God, imagine your film has to be cursed with like when they mention like the films they like from the studio that brought, and they like imagine your film is what they attach from the producers of Men.
Jesus Christ. I haven't seen Men, by the way.
I've watched it twice now. It's not a good film.
I want to see that scene where like the monster is birthing the men.
God, that's gonna sound fucking weird out of context.
Is it less weird in context?
No, it just happens.
Exactly.
Most of this video, the Chris Stuckman video, is him bashing Sony.
It's not.
Just saying.
no one. If you made a video on Madam Web giving your honest opinions, it will not affect any career aspirations that you have. And if he knew that and believed it, then he might do it. It might just be
Well,
about.
you-
I
you
don't
get
know.
The reason he
confused,
wasn't there
you
is
know?
because he's got to
Yeah,
keep it
okay.
consistent.
He doesn't bash he bashes the whole studio system. So if we're talking about not wanting to risk his career, what he actually does is way riskier for his career than just bashing Madam Web.
Which is really weird because he's trying to get buddies with creatives to get him a job, yet he's bashing the people that's going to give him money to do the job. Like, Bob, you're so close. You're this close to realizing why the true stupidity of this.
Imagine Sony, like they're the ones that try to pick up Stuckman's his film, and some executive's kid just has the video playing. They see the thing, and then they just pull all funding.
God, that would be so fun. No, that'd be really sad. I would feel a little bit bad for him.
It'd be an instance of like that's just what happens when you do this half-assed language.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like again, that's the true stupidity of it. He wants to be in the film industry, so he gets close with the creatives so they can get him a job, but he's bashing the people that it's going to give him money in order to do the job. Like, that's the true stupidity of this, Bob. You're this close to understanding it, but for some fucking reason, your tiny little pea brain can't comprehend it.
Right.
That's probably the only reason why not.
So yeah, that is the assumed motivation for many people. And by the way, before anyone assumes like, oh, you're just taking the worst route ever, this is the overwhelming majority of the opinion from his audience, is that he's trying to be careful so he can ingratiate himself into the.
This is insufferable. Let's see. I'm gonna maybe jump to a different part. This is ridiculous though.
Do you have a point other than it's insufferable? Because normally when people say this is insufferable because of X,
I don't think he's intelligent enough to come up with a reason why it's insufferable. It's like the thing is, Bob, you didn't have to do this. You could have just said, "Oh, I don't really want to respond to those guys. It's too long for my taste or whatever." But no, you decided to do it. So,
or if somebody in his chat while he was watching the Chris Stuckman video, someone mentions in his chat, they're like, "Oh, EFAP went over this," and he'd be like, "Oh, good for them," and that'd be the end of it.
yeah. Because and it's, to be honest, Bob, I think that you don't care that you get lambasted by the EFAP fans because you know that your video will do slightly better because you're kind of a whore for this kind of thing. It's okay, admit that you're a whore for it every now and then. YouTube's a business. Well, let's be real.
Are you saying this because you know how the game works? You're saying that as somebody who likes anger bait as well?
I mean, like, the thing is, I don't intentionally try and anger bait people. Like, that's not the point. Like, I'm like maybe it's a little bit to try and like get you to watch the thing, but like I don't.
It's a little bit. That's why, like, I suggested Starship Cinema Wins, and you were like, yes.
Well, yeah, because then I just genuinely do not at all like Cinema Wins.
I gotta show you his Spider-Verse video. It's like the one video of his I actually like.
Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't have any good videos. It's just like I just don't like his videos. It's like how not to defend and praise things.
Well, not to mention, like in the instance of with Starship Troopers, completely missed the goddamn point.
He misses the point a lot. Like, he has the media literacy of a lobotomized worm.
How big's that worm?
I don't know. Size of Bob's penis, so small?
Oh. Can't,
There is no worm sign. There is no worm sign.
Worm? Where? Gets hooks.
Like, what about worm sign? We have worm sign the likes of which God has never seen.
God fucking the... I think that line's even in the... I think it is in the part 2. I realized somebody, I think it was Nerdist, made a video of like Dune references and just general fiction. Do you know there's one in SpongeBob?
Yeah, the Alaskan bullworm.
Yeah. Worm sign, and it's just a sign that says worm. And
Yeah.
I didn't put two and two together and laughed for like a solid 5 minutes.
Just because Dune is just sci-fi.
Yeah, it's the granddaddy of all sci-fi. There's a reason Games Workshop just went, and I'll take some of that and some of these.
Although you could argue Starship Troopers is maybe like the great-grandfather of sci-fi.
Yeah, with things like inventing like the what we interpret as power armor now.
Mm-hmm. Which is a fun fact, everybody. The Starship Troopers Roughnecks, the cartoon for children.
15th time he's fucking brought this cartoon up.
Exactly, because people, it's free to watch on YouTube. Everyone needs to fucking watch it. Like,
is it free or is it free because somebody just pirated it and put it on YouTube?
Yes.
So it's free. Yeah, it's free in the sense that watching clips of movies on YouTube is free.
Yeah, but whatever. Just or buy it on Amazon. I don't care. But No, in that they actually have the power armor from the books. They don't wear like this the stuff in the movie that they wear. No, they wear like the armor.
Doesn't the power armor show up in like 3?
Yes, and the animated movies as well.
They're not even addressing the points he's making. He is just so full of shit. Let's see. Are they still covering it at this point?
With the Spider-Verse films, I see Lord and Miller that have had massive success on the big screen in the past that have made...
Have you looked into what they've said? They said, it's a bit grueling because a lot of your choices get slapped down by the studio, but ultimately you still get to make something that people are inspired by. Like, what?
Lord and Miller are known names and get far more creative power. I guarantee you that.
The creators of the fucking Lego movie are no names?
No. Hold up. Let's see what let's
Bring that back.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse films, I see Lord and Miller that have had massive success on the big screen in the past that have made...
Have you looked into what they've said? What if they said, it's a bit grueling because a lot of your choices get slapped down by the studio, but ultimately you still get to make something that people are inspired by? Like, what?
Lord and Miller are known names and get...
Known.
Oh, known. God damn it, Bob. Sorry.
Yeah,
if
that's why I said that's why I said let's go back, because I think
I heard no names, and it's just like, I'm sorry. The Lego movie, 21 Jump Streets.
I haven't seen 21 I haven't seen 21 Jump Street.
It's pretty fucking funny. The point that
Far
I'm
more
making is that if he had said that they're no names, like I originally thought he did, he'd be so fucking wrong.
Yeah, but like they're known names, so like this. You honestly think the studio is not going to tamper with people with who are known names, unless you're like fucking Spielberg or Lucas or Tarantino. Like there are there are very, very, very few like directors that are big enough to just say no to the studio. Let's be fucking real here.
Well, because normally their way of saying fuck you to the studio is that they fund it themselves. That's why we bring up things like Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas made his own fucking production studio where he wants like freedom. Like, yeah, you know what, George? Good on you.
Good on you. You created Star Wars. Oh, thank you.
I made Star Wars. If we could make Jar Jar work, everything will fall into place.
There's an alternate universe where Jar Jar totally worked. I want to know what that timeline is like. It sounds like the hypest timeline.
What if, like, in the long game, Jar Jar was Darth Plagueis the entire time?
So you please tell me you actually know about the Darth Jar Jar theory.
I know of it. I don't know the specifics of it.
Oh god, to give you like 2 stupid examples, when he's fighting the droids on the Battle of Naboo and he's flailing his arms around, somebody said that's like, oh, that's like a drunken boxer, how they're like moving their arms around so you think they're inebriated, but then he'll like do like these precision strikes, because it's like, yeah, he does. He stomps on the droid and he manages to take out a droideka. And then the other example is when he gets promoted to general, and they're like, "Oh, we wouldn't have done this without you, Jar Jar," and he's just going like, "Ah, ha, ha," and he's waving his arm around. It's like, oh, what do we know with the Force when they're waving their arms around? And it shows Jedi mind tricks. So he's mind tricking himself into becoming general.
What?
I have to show you Darth Jar Jar. It is the most, like, if you ever wanted to just point and laugh at the prequels and how shit they are, holy fuck, the Darth Jar Jar is amazing.
Darth Jar Jar needs to be canon. Fuck it, I don't care.
That's why so, like, that's why it's like, if we get Jar Jar working, the rest will fall into place. It's like, what do you mean by that, George?
Was Darth Jar Jar supposed to be a thing? Was Jar Jar supposed to be Darth Plagueis?
That's the theory, is that everybody thought, like, oh, Jar Jar was supposed to be the real big bad, but because, like, everybody pointed and laughed at George, he was like, oh, fine. I guess Palpatine could be the bad guy.
But George Palpatine was supposed to be the bad guy in the first place.
I'm sorry, did you create Star Wars? It's like the one thing he can always fall back on.
Yeah, he also made Willow, the original Willow.
Hey, he's not very proud of that.
Well, isn't it because he couldn't get the rights to Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
So I decided
you
to
know
make
what?
my own.
Well, you know what? He also made Howard the Duck.
Oh my god, he did. He did make Howard the Duck. Duck titties.
Damn it.
Yeah, duck titties.
Creative power. I guarantee you that. Lord and Miller have far more influence in the movies they make for Sony than S.J. Clarkson.
S.J. Clarkson. I thought it was C.S. Walker for some fucking reason. I'm like, wait, no, C.S. Walker is like fucking creepypasta writer.
But S.J. Clarkson did have a lot of sway as well.
Yeah, she did. She was executive producer.
Yep.
Is not a one-to-one comparison.
What if they said?
And when Chris is making this comparison, he's not making it a one-to-one comparison. He's pointing out that Lord and Miller have a fair amount of control.
I'm sorry, I just fucking saw the chat. Do they have a chapter where they inevitably go back to his bisexuality? It was mentioned once.
Yeah, it's like
They for a split second talked about the Jehovah's Witness video, and it's just like, I think it said he was pansexual, and it's like, that was it. It was the only thing. Why do these guys get like? This is coming from fucking me. Why do they get stuck on such a tiny, like, irrelevant detail?
because they want to find it, because instead of attacking the arguments, they want to attack the person. They want to find any way to dismiss their arguments. That's why Bob was fucking upset that Mueller didn't say anything about America Chavez's moms. He couldn't just dismiss him on principle.
Such a snake.
He is a fucking snake. No, wait, no, that's an insult to snakes. Snakes are at least cool and neat and clever.
Yeah, like the tunnel snakes. Tunnel snakes rule.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we were this fucking slimy to each other? If that's really what our friendship was?
Oh god, I would fucking. Why would we be friends?
I don't know. With that point, it literally is the phrase of like, why have enemies when you have friends like that? Because it's just we wouldn't be friends if we acted like this. Because we'd be shitty fucking people.
Definitely, yeah.
It's I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
All over those movies, and that's why they're so good.
Something like that.
I wonder what his opinion is on the reported crunch on Across the Spider-Verse. Good old Chris Stuckman. I wonder if he has an opinion on it.
Oh, I have an opinion on. I assume you're talking about how the animators were overworked. That was bullshit. While I thought the movie looked amazing, they did great work. How they were overworked was ridiculous and unjustifiable.
Oh my god, he had a fucking opinion on something, and he actually.
Oh my goodness, and it's one that I can agree with.
Yeah, don't fucking crunch unless you're gonna adequately fucking pay them.
Mm-hmm. Rooster Teeth.
Rooster Teeth, any game developers,
again, anime studios, manga publishers.
Yeah, because I honestly have no problem with crunch as long as somebody's being compensated, because that's what overtime is. Overtime is literally you being compensated for you being there extra.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why most overtime rates are time and a half, almost doubling your pay.
Yeah. Oh, Corva, not again.
Something break?
No, I switched to a
different tab.
I went to a different tab.
We got it. That might be next on the list, is getting you a tiny monitor to fucking look at whatever you're looking for on your second monitor.
Yeah, I'll double check the recording to see if it got any like personal. I shouldn't have, but I'll double check.
But yeah, crunch for Across the Spider-Verse was ridiculous to the point that I forgot which one it was of Lord and Miller, but one of them just kept changing ideas every 20 seconds. Hence why, depending on what theater you went to see Across the Spider-Verse, some details would be different. That's why there's even details are different on the streaming release. Which I think is actually like originally we all thought it was like this neat little detail like with Clue, but no, it just turns out that's how disorganized the movie was.
Yo, wow.
And to the point that they rewrote like parts of the ending like a few weeks before the film was supposed to be out. There's just like, even if you're not satisfied, there's just got to be a point where you gotta either get it delayed or you just gotta work with what you got.
Yeah.
Because we certainly don't get that kind of wiggle room.
We do not know.
And whether or not they have any amount of responsibility for anything that would have been brought up relating to that.
Of money for a
director, potentially, but that's probably more a studio thing again.
A lot of people and have proven themselves to be very smart at what they do, and I can totally see a company like.
And on a brief mention, and who talks to the studios?
The directors.
Yep.
Sony saying, you guys give us your best shot and then we'll give you some notes. Now, for a filmmaker like S.J. Clarkson, who made Madam Web, she's had a long and respectable career directing television, but she's directing her first movie and it's a Sony superhero movie. When I saw Madam Web earlier today, there wasn't a single part of me that thought, wow, this is just a terrible filmmaker. I could not help.
They're really? Really?
I mean, if you were up to me, but not even if it were up to me. I'm sorry. No, from my perspective, before I found out that she was really proud of this movie, I thought no one gave a shit. The marketing and the red carpet stuff made me think everybody just was in on it.
Yeah, but no, S.J. Clarkson was really proud of it.
She's really loves this movie, and it's like, I honestly think that's a like post hoc. You honestly should just make it sound like you didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Which I know I'm basically telling you to bash the art that you created, but it's like, come on.
Sometimes you have to realize.
Is.
Sometimes you have to realize, or at least say something to the effect of, if you can't like totally bash, you can say, there were a couple things I could have done better, or it didn't turn out it didn't turn out completely how I wanted it. There are a couple things I could have changed. It's like, be like that, sort of like the code for this was awful and I regret it.
To reference a very famous meme involving somebody we just talked about, I think I may have gone a little far in a few places. He said that watching the first finished draft of Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
It's one of George's most famous memes.
Next to it's poetry. It rhymes.
It rhymes.
And I think the most famous one is Jar Jar is the key to all this.
I think it might be a tie between Jar Jar is the key and it's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Because the in third place is George Lucas just eating that food court food.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's also just kind of a nice. It's also very nice to see how he is very humble.
Well, everybody talks about like, oh, this guy is like a billionaire because he sold Star Wars. George didn't get a dime of that.
No, didn't he donate all of it to charity?
Yep, proceeds all went to charity, which is what's really good. And also, like, just good on George for calling Disney the white slavers of when he got rid of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And George, this is even where once again, George, I love you. You're the one who fucking sold them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
By this point, do you think Disney they'd want to sell it back to him, or do you think the company would rather go down in flames than give up on Star Wars?
Disney is like, to me, the WWE when it was still under Vince McMahon. Vince would rather see his creation burn than be in the hands of another. I think that Disney would rather see Star Wars burn than be put back in the hands of George.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, George has visited sets and Mando, and Pedro Pascal even talked to him about the helmet. Yeah, because he bitched to George Lucas saying like, "Can I please take my George? Can I take my helmet?" I don't know why that fucking accent is supposed to be. But
Life is
like,
good,
no.
but it can be better.
But George was like, "No, it was Boba Fett. He's gotta wear the helmet." No, because it's the surface level interpretation. Because sometimes I don't even think George understands why these characters work. Remember, he thought all the costume stuff was supposed to be what audiences are gonna forget.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
No, I don't know that.
He went up to he went to his main costume designer and when making like the Imperial outfits, saying like these are supposed to be costumes that people are gonna forget, like they're supposed to forget it, and it.
Why?
Because again, I sometimes I
understand George Lucas is simply a different breed, but fuck me.
Yeah, that's why I admire him, but at the same time, what the fuck?
George is just constructed incorrectly.
But then it's just I admire him in the sense of the depressed artiste, because I got so triggered by behind the scenes footage of Thor Ragnarok where everybody's smiling and having a good time. Then I'm just reminded of the days of you just see George behind the camera looking like he hasn't eaten in 6 weeks. Thinking that he's gonna go completely bankrupt and never work in Hollywood again.
Oh my god!
Nobody's taking his movie seriously. Then that's how you get Star Wars, baby. That's how you get Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and that's how you get fucking Jaws.
Yeah.
Depressed artiste is honestly, that's the vibe you should be going for with Hollywood, because it means you're fucking stressed. This isn't supposed to be fun.
That I don't know. I don't think that's a very healthy way to do it either. Because if you're not having fun doing your job, then why are you here?
Because you're making art.
Why can't making art be fun?
So I don't think it's bad, the idea of somebody giggling or a gag girl existing, because the Pixar movies, for example, are famous for having a gag girl that they made on purpose. It's just an instance of, honestly, it feels like is it possible to say that they're having too much fun when they should be focusing on making a movie?
I mean, I don't think there's such a thing as having too much fun. If you're having fun on set, that's fine, as long as you're just doing your job properly.
If you're able to bring that energy into the movie, then good on you. But
yeah, I don't see anything wrong with having fun on set. I don't if you're miserable at your job or miserable doing a job, then why are you continuing to do it?
Again, for the art.
But if doing
for
art,
the craft,
if
we're making Star Wars.
If you're getting paid millions of dollars to make art, that's something very few. That's a dream job. So like I don't agree. Why should you be miserable doing it and depressed?
I don't think you actually need to be miserable. It's just this instance of like, take this shit seriously.
But they are having fun does not mean you're not.
Have you
taking
seen?
it seriously.
Have you seen Thor Ragnarok and Thor Love and Thunder? They're shit movies.
I saw Ragnarok. I didn't see Sludge and Chunder.
Yeah, they're shit movies.
Right.
But at least everybody had fun.
You can have fun and still make a good movie.
In the era of false dichotomies in which I constantly live in,
that's your problem. Is that you're living in is that you think there's two choices, but really there's many.
Then again, there's also the polar opposite is also bad as well. Don't be Hitchcock, where you're fucking tying birds to your actresses and then throwing live birds at them as well. Don't do that.
Yeah,
that's just abusive. You're not.
Yeah.
There's taking this shit seriously, and then there's you're almost actively trying to hurt people.
Yeah.
Or like not Hitchcock, 2001 Kubrick, yeah, who like scared the shit out of Shelley Duvall, like constantly.
Yeah. He was very abusive.
I think I just admire that artiste viewpoint of like nothing's completely safe and they're taking a lot of risks. Like Evil Dead, for example. They're firing live shotgun rounds. It's on a budget of like, I think less than 100,000. Then again with like Star Wars, you're creating like one of the first. Like I think we talked about this way earlier. It wasn't the first blockbuster, but it was one of them that like was really getting the ball going. When George was taking it deathly serious.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I've completely lost the plot because I would rather talk about anything rather than. I think I would actively rather describe in unique detail Chinese water torture rather than listen to organized chaos. I think I'd rather be subjected to Chinese water torture.
Yeah. Thing is, like, I wasn't really. I was expecting something from this video. The way you were talking about it.
The way I was talking about it is because it brings a lot of points that we've talked about previously on either this show or over on Yarp. Like the fact that he just has just gigantic gaps where he's not talking, and when he does talk, he says only like 2-word sentences. And then again, he admits that he's watching in bad faith, and then he's like, "Oh, you guys think I'm watching this in bad faith?" It's like, yeah,
you are. You admitted it, you fucking retard. Like,
wait. You gotta see how he finishes the sentence for that to make sense.
Okay.
A terrible filmmaker. I could not help but see the myriad of evidence that has been laid at all of our feet that this is a studio that is simply retaining the rights to their characters, that does not care about the quality of this experience they're giving us.
Sure, okay.
So nothing she could have done. Nothing she could have done.
I see Chris Gore left and Critical Drinker joined.
Present us with this myriad of evidence that's been laid at our feet.
Also, yes.
You mean the product placement? The fact... Listen, you can actually, like, if you're familiar...
The product placement is not evidence of something that's...
He's missed the point. He's gotten lost in the sauce and just not understand what they're actually talking about.
Yeah,
because the product placement is like after this, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but like the myriad of evidence, and they're saying, what evidence, so to speak, that would... Are you going to go into the movie and discuss the issues and point out the ones that you think were studio interference? Or do you just not want to make fun of the movie because you think S.J. Clarkston might not want to, put a good word in for you?
If I told you I had a myriad of evidence that shows that ice cream is related to communism, I would assume that you would go, all right, go on.
Yeah, I would. I would say, all right. I mean, ice cream existed before communism, but you know, let's go.
And then that's when you explain something, because that's just how this works. He's avoiding, like Stuckman avoided it by just going, I have this myriad of evidence, and I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just kind of what he does.
Familiar with movie, you can kind of get a sense for shit like that. When there is a soulless movie that you're watching, or a soulless piece of art that you are looking into. Hey, I have a soulless piece of art right here. Boom. Soulless piece of art. It's art. It's
Fuck you. I'm still
mean-
trying to get my hands on a copy of ISOM.
I don't know. I hear Eric is actually kind of deep shit. Like, apparently the Rippaverse is, like, not happening anymore.
Really?
I don't know, man. There's controversy around it, but, like, a soulless piece of art, it's like... No, you're saying it's a soulless piece of art, Bob, because he fucking, like, embarrassed you.
Also, after this recording, you'll need to tell me about that, because I'm genuinely curious.
I've just had videos recommended it to me. I don't know the situation at all. There's just been lots of videos talking about Rippaverse over ? And I'm like, is that true? I don't know.
Okay.
But like with ISOM, it's like you're just saying that because he embarrassed.
Because he's bitter.
Yeah, you're bitter that he embarrassed you. And well, first, and by the way, you're gonna need to define what a soulless piece of art is first. Like, come on.
Like what's a piece of art that I would? Like, what's a film? What's a film that's completely soulless? I keep wanting to say, like, my brain immediately goes to, like, things like in the MCU, but that's more the fact that I know that the process in making those films is more haphazard than soulless.
Even then, I wouldn't call them soulless. There's still something there.
They're just rushed and held together by duct tape, but they're not soulless.
Would you say that The Mandalorian is soulless?
No. It's doesn't have an original soul, but it has like this, like, it's got like the imitation of a soul.
True.
So it's hollow, but it's not soulless, because Dave definitely gives a shit. He just only gives a shit about his stuff.
I don't think I can think of a soulless piece of art.
Hold on, let's I'm gonna Google this just because I'm curious what would pop up. Soulless movie. I'm just gonna put that. Oh, there's apparently a movie just called Soulless. Fuck.
Actually, I could maybe some of like those direct-to-video sequels. But even then, the mentality is soulless, but like the actual movies themselves might not be soulless. Like Lion King 2 isn't that great, but I wouldn't call it soulless.
Somebody just fucking said so I'm looking at a whole forum right now, and somebody said Adam Sandler movies post Wedding Singer, and that is just wrong. Because when you're mentioning Adam Sandler movies post Wedding Singer, without like having to go into the timeline, it means you're talking about things like Happy Gilmore.
Well, Happy Gilmore is not soulless.
Waterboy.
Waterboy is not soulless either. That movie, I love Waterboy.
And even films that I only like and everybody else hates, such as 51st Dates.
What about the fucking
It's not soulless.
what about Grown Ups?
Grown Ups tells a story. It's while it probably has like a soulless like motive behind it, just like this idea that he's just hanging out with his friends and getting paid to do it. At the end of the day, that's his production company, and he's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants.
True.
And sorry, an ad's trying to distract me. Yeah, I don't even. At the same time, there is a story behind these movies, behind like things like the grown-ups movies. There is a story, and
Yeah.
so they gave enough of a shit to try. That again, that shows some level. It's like if you were to look at like a Geiger counter for a soul, it just blipped for like 2 seconds. That's the
I
soul.
don't can you have a soulless piece of art?
Somebody said Michael Bay. That's very much not soulless. In fact, it's probably, even though it's not good, it's full of soul.
Yeah, Michael Bay, like even something like Transformers 2, you can see Michael Bay like put his soul into it.
Yeah, he gave a shit.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of one.
Somebody said episode 9.
No, no, I don't think episode 9 is soul. It's fucking atrocious and awful and hilarious, but like JJ clearly tried.
Somebody said fucking Hot Rod was soulless.
Hot Rod is not soulless. Hot
Okay,
Rod's
thank
not
you.
soulless.
I got really worried for a second. You've never seen Hot Rod. I fucking love that movie.
It's been a while, but I've seen it.
The Cool Beans scene where they just they keep saying cool beans in different ways.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think
think
there's a definition of a soulless movie. Like it would just have a soulless movie would have to literally just be a blank screen.
Mm-hmm.
Batman versus Superman? No, Snyder gave a massive shit about that movie.
Oh, Snyder cared a lot. I wish he didn't, but he did.
Yeah, and that's like at the very least with our criteria is giving a shit.
Yeah.
I.e. equals soul.
Yeah.
We'll
So
probably find somebody that would probably disagree with us under different criteria, but then we're just arguing over like what is the quote unquote correct criteria.
yeah. Because again, I just don't like it when people use those fucking vague ass shit like this is a soulless movie, and I'm like, well, define what define soulless movie first. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't.
Oh, wait a minute. Would you argue that a film that's just like going through the numbers, like, would you argue that's soulless? Like in the instance of like let's say the John Wick films.
No,
Like
because a lot of
to
effort.
John goes to place. John says a thing.
Yeah, but
Like
like
he then
they're
fights
just
somebody.
they're diverting the effort from the writing to the action. It's just a transfer of effort. Like there's not really a lot of, I guess, soul in the writing, but they put in a lot in that action.
Because I think that might be the closest to what would be considered a soulless movie, a paint by numbers. Like they just made it to made it.
Yeah, like yeah, but like fuck, even then, sometimes that people put like the Fan Four Stick is awful, and it was made just to retain the rights to Fantastic Four, but I would not call it soulless.
Yeah, especially when you show the amount of like shit they gave with the production value with things like the body horror elements.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just yawning a storm up.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I don't. I don't know. I just don't think a piece of art can be soulless. Like, even a Jackson Pollock painting, I don't think is soulless. I think it's shit, but I don't think it's soulless. Wait, no. I think I can think of a... Huh. What if that someone drawing like a red line on a piece of canvas and passing that off as art? Would that be soulless?
Depends on how they on the like the motive behind it. I would argue would
Okay, so if
would
they're
be the
just doing
determining
it,
factor.
because if they're
If
just
they
doing
truly
it,
if they didn't give a shit and they knew they were gonna make money from that singular line, then yes, it's soulless. No, it's not even soulless because then the motivation is they want to make money.
yeah. I don't know. Again, this is really weird. This is when you get into this shit. It's like, okay, what counts as soulless? Does it have to be like no effort was put into it? There's like no intentions of doing anything with it. It's
Yeah, because my immediate thought is always like the passion behind the project.
but there could also be a passion to make money, and that
Yeah,
passion to
because
make
at the end of the day, Hollywood's a business.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, soulless piece of art. I don't. Yeah, no, I can't agree with that because you didn't define what soulless was. Even if ISOM was shit, I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it soulless.
Actually, on the slight Sandler thing that I might bend a tiny bit. I want to hear your thoughts. Pixels.
Haven't seen it.
You never seen it? It's really bad.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Aliens are invading, so they're like, all right, to fight the humans, we're gonna use like 80s arcade machine things to go fight them. They have to fight Pac-Man. It's
Yeah.
really stupid.
Let's get this going. I'm
Yep.
getting tired. It's almost
Technically,
3:30.
but it is soulless. There isn't. This is just made by like a business. This is not made by somebody who had a cool story. Madam Web is very similar. It's not made like S.J. Clarkson made a movie.
I'm sorry. I hate to pause one like again, but also, why did you have that just ready?
He made a video about it. If I remember the title, he called ISOM's like the worst comic he's ever read.
Did he make this video the same day he did this stream?
I don't know, maybe.
Because if not, why does he just have that prop ready to go when it's not even related to what he's doing?
No idea.
But like Sony executives had their hands in it heavily, like they had their hands in Spider-Man 3. And
I mean, S.J. Clarkson was the executive producer on Madam Web, and she's really happy how it turned out, but we're just not going to talk about that, or you're not even going to bother even looking it up because you're drinking the Stuckman Kool-Aid.
We said it once, we said it again. Just because Venom was forced to be in Spider-Man 3 didn't mean Sam Raimi had to fucking give up and make the shitty movie he did.
Exactly.
keep in mind, Spider-Man 3 was directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi was a fairly established director when that movie was made. If they're willing to fuck around with his movie, imagine what they're going to do with a first-time director like S.J. Clarkson.
So, Sam Raimi could have not made shit.
And then also, while this was her first feature film, she's directed like multi-million-dollar projects, including an unaired Game of Thrones prequel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's like one step below this in terms of just sheer production scale.
Yeah. And at some point in time, you need to put the blame somewhat on the people behind the scenes, not just the studios, because a talented director or writer will work within those limitations.
And they'll almost view it as a challenge.
Yeah.
I would imagine that saying that it's her movie is generous, to say the least.
She thinks it's her movie.
Help us
he
to
so like him like drinking the Stuckman Kool-Aid. The fact that he doesn't even know that how attached S.J. Clarkson was.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
Yeah.
see what you see, Chris.
Yes.
Help us.
Because also, they didn't set out to make a shit movie.
Nope.
Sony obviously wanted this movie to make a bit.
Oh my god, he's just out openly defending Sony right now. Just
They're a business.
He's defending so. Why?
It's also not defending Sony. That's just stating like
This is-
fact is that a
yes.
movie studio, when they want to make a movie, want it to make all the money possible.
Yeah, like why would they set out to make a bad movie?
I don't know about you when you release your videos, but every time we release a new Yarp video, we're hoping like that this will be just the best YouTube video ever.
Yeah,
Like maintaining that positive attitude.
yeah, yeah. It's he's not defending Sony. He's just saying, yeah, even when Sony fucks things up, they're not trying to fuck things up on purpose. They think that their meddling will help.
I'm more just curious, like, because I brought this up while you were away. What the fuck is with their way of thinking of like making movies based off Spider-Man villains, but not having goddamn Spider-Man?
I don't know. That's was
Like Venom. Don't you think Venom would have been much better if Tom Hardy's Venom had to fight Spider-Man, and we almost have this reverse of the classic superhero story, where the hero is viewed as the villain because. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Peter is just aggressively trying to get the symbiote off Eddie, and he's coming across like as more no nonsense than Peter normally would be shown as.
Yeah, I mean, like it was really weird that Venom, was the Venom and Spider-Man weren't in the same movie together until like
Yeah, especially a character who's just so focused on like you can't tell like you. At the very least, if you want to be faithful to the adaptation, you can't tell a Venom story without Spider-Man.
in some capacity.
Yeah, especially an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
He almost completely relies on the character of Spider-Man.
Yeah, and
From his abilities down to his goddamn logo.
which again, I don't like Venom without the spider symbol.
It's weird.
Yeah.
oh yeah, Sony wanted to make. Okay, let's see what this argument is. But it sounds like he's about ready to say Sony just wanted to make a good movie, but S.J. Clarkson fucked it up. Let's see what Will Jordan says. Maybe I'm wrong.
$1 billion. They wanted it to be
Obviously.
good. So they clearly did care about providing a good experience for the end user, the audience. They just weren't able to deliver it. Whose fault is that? Is it theirs, or is it the creatives?
Or is it both? Or is
Why
it
would they
neither?
have meddled?
Yes, so that is his argument.
Okay.
I think you're missing the point, Bob.
Yeah, you are. Like it's like the whole point is like the studios don't want the movie to be bad.
Because at the end of the day, they're trying to sell tickets
Yeah.
and merchandise.
Yeah.
Argument is Sony just wanted to make a good Madam Web movie, but the creatives fucked it up so that
No, that's not what he
Might.
said at all.
Might.
Yeah.
they didn't come out. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm sorry, all you fucking EFAP fans, you Phantom Menace fans, all you guys coming into the channel and talking about how apparently they're anti-corporate. They're anti-fucking art.
Your inability to understand the argument doesn't make them anti-art, and more specifically, even being for corporations is not anti-art. You fucking mongoloided dumbass.
These people have, during their streams, they've made a lot of great points that everyone should either strive to do or just to develop some your own moral compass. One thing that they very much give a shit about is transforming art and the process in which it is done. So to say EFAP doesn't that they are anti-art is it's an oxymoron statement because EFAP in and of itself is art.
Mm-hmm. Like even then, like, again, the statement itself, it's like if you're trying to defend the studio and saying, oh, well, the studios are the ones that are right and the creators are the ones that are wrong or whatever, it's like that doesn't mean you're anti-art. You just think that the studio could make better art than the creative. You're still for art. Like, again,
Yeah.
you're labeling people anti-art when they're not anti-art doesn't make sense. Bob, you're a fucking moron. Why does this person have fans?
That's what this is. It's bare right there. They're anti-art. They're going to support the big corporations. That's why you saw during the strike, they were anti-writer and anti-actor during the strike.
Were
Okay. They were anti-bad art and bad writer. And they also, like, here's again just showing how much you're just focusing on fucking EFAP, Bob, because, like, I don't know if you watch this, but I watch Open Bar and I watch their highlights to make sure
I
focus
don't
on
watch
their
Open Bar,
points.
no. I should, but I don't.
So because I watch more than one thing when it comes to these creators, Bob, I get to fucking bring up like a multitude of shit. And this fuck's sake, even I've lost my goddamn train of thought like 2 seconds.
Open
hold on.
Bar about
Anti-art.
like corporations or whatever.
Oh, yeah, they were so Open Bar is fucking weekly and they were talking about both the studios and what the fucking writers wanted from the strike. And they talked about how what the studios want is shit because they want to fucking rely on AI. We got to see a multitude of different perspectives because they talked about this shit. Meanwhile, in this particular episode, Bob, because you're just set so narrow tunnel vision, you don't know what these people think about.
No, he doesn't. Even though he doesn't. He has this preconceived notion. He refuses to have that challenged and turned. But more specifically, Bob, if you were actually to watch this entire EFAP from start to finish, you would actually know what they think.
And also, just like that's all the power of just EFAP in general. Of that lineup, how many of them do you watch?
Drinker, Jay Longbone, Fringy, and Mahler. I would watch Rags if he posted videos.
Do you watch any Dog Bites stuff? Because he uploads more to that right now.
Yeah, but he hasn't uploaded there in a while.
So I watch a little bit of Capital O Opinions. I watched him, Fringy, and Rags break down Napoleon. I didn't realize that was a bad movie. But apparently, yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
I need to watch Fringy's Endgame video.
Oh,
it frequently pops up in my recommendations.
It's really good.
I've only watched Jay Longbone's Gotham High videos.
You didn't
Mahler.
You didn't watch Jay Longbone's Batwoman videos?
No, because I would just watch EFAP. It's one of those things of like I already had one source of entertainment, but I probably should go back and watch them. But
yes.
but it's like, oh, I also watched Nerdrotic and Rags and Critical Drinker. Because this is a panel that I'm very interested in, I'll go out and figure out like what opinions they have on something. Nerdrotic, somebody I don't really watch that much, fucking loved the live action One Piece. I really like his breakdown of it. He goes into it's a 30-minute breakdown, and he does actually some pretty good editing of like some of the dramatic scenes with the music from the anime, making it her impact even more.
Oh, nice.
Like Nerdrotic is pretty good at what he does. The only EFAP guest that I've despised, like outside of like the jokes I make about Southpaw and all that stuff, but I don't watch it like for example, but that's because I'm kind of gotten sick of the culture war narrative in general.
I watched this video on the Act Man, which was all right.
I still, you're, this is either gonna get me killed or not killed. It's probably gonna be raked over the coals. I didn't give a shit about like the pronoun stuff with Starfield. That's
That most people didn't.
Yeah. Like if there's something I would have brought up with Starfield, less about like the political bullshit and more about the fact that it's just a dull and empty game with zero stakes, at least regarding the main story.
Yeah, but well, I mean, I'll take your word for it. I haven't played it myself.
Don't
yeah, but no,
it.
like the Act Man literally just going. It's like I'm gonna leak these private DMs with Mahler to try and prove a point. And it's like, what you did? What? Like
he did what?
Yeah, like like Mahler was like the intermediary, the non-biased third party between the two to try and get them to talk.
Fucking kidding me! I'll need to see.
Yeah,
after we'll watch this we'll talk about it a little bit after the video. But let's finish. We're almost there.
I'm probably gonna have to go to bed because it's like 3:35 in the fucking morning.
But we can finish this video at least then.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Going to some corporations. That's why you saw during the strike they were anti-writer and anti-actor during the strike, but they were support. Like they were like they should just work for the money that's being offered to them because there's not enough money being made. They were towing that corporate line without doing it directly, and now.
I mean, like, can you have any proof of this?
They literally said during open bar that the other outcome of the writer's strike, which is it completely failing, is also a nightmare scenario. Because I honestly am completely anti-AI. Like I will take that hard stance. Keep AI as far away from the writer's room as fucking possible.
I agree. However, I am curious.
You can then do it on your own time as like a short film. Keep it out of like with how much money is at stake and how much like this is supposed to be like the bastion of creativity, or at least it used to fucking be. Then like no, keep that shit out of the writer's room.
Yeah, like I said, I 100% agree. But but I wouldn't necessarily say no to looking over a script written by AI, not putting it into practice or anything. But I would be curious to see what it comes up with.
I'd be curious in the sense of like, does it understand like basic stuff? Like I would love to see if it just understands the fundamentals of writing, but I don't think I would ever want to see a movie made by AI.
Well, because here's the thing: if an AI generated script understands the basic fundamentals better than most human writers, you're like, oh shit, we are in trouble.
No, yeah, that's when in all honesty you go into Hollywood and just keep walking into writers' rooms and just going like, all right, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired. Oh, you're definitely fired. All right, now that we've just bled this stuck pig until like all the bad juju is out of it, let's make some fucking great shit.
Exactly. Like, I think that should be the test. The ultimate test should be, let us AI generate a script. Not to use it. Right, we're not going to use it, but we're going to generate it, and then we're going to compare it to the human script. And if the human script is worse, then either rewrite it or fire everybody and just like rehire people who can write.
I just thought about this. What about what if you generate the AI script and then the potential writer has to basically break it down like you're creating an essay. They have to like point out like why this doesn't work
or why it does work.
No, if it can do it on par, then I'd rather see like the technical merits of a writer first.
Yeah, that's yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I think that's cool. Yeah, I mean, like AI can be a useful thing when it comes to like creating art in the sense of like it can create you some like assets. Like, oh fuck, I need a picture or I need an image for this. So just type in, just give me this, and it can give you that, right?
You know, that might. I think that might actually be the first instance of soulless art, like when it's going to be completely AI generated and an AI wrote the script and AI animated it. Like,
Yeah.
it's going to be soulless when not a single human being touches it.
What about the people that programmed the AI?
They're separated enough from it that that it's irrelevant.
Yeah, I guess.
Because you can write a program like ChatGPT, but then there's at some point where it's just its own thing, that it's divorced from like the original.
Yeah.
Just can't, like, in the instance of ChatGPT, can't it basically, doesn't it know like 20 programming languages?
I'm not sure.
Like that's almost direct what Will Jordan.
What were you gonna say?
It's just play.
I just said Sony just wanted to make a good movie, but the creatives just didn't make a good one. Unfortunately, Sony wanted a good one that would make money, but creatives won't let them.
What's he mean?
It's literally
by that?
not it.
That's not what he said. He said Sony is not going in within the mindset of making a bad movie. Like, you understand, Bob, that the reason why a lot of people that studios get involved, for justified or not, is because they want to make money, because they don't think what's happening currently is going to make them money.
Also, if they truly didn't care and it was just a way to just generate like taxable in like tax write-offs, then they do what they just did with not Madam Web, with Batgirl, where they make pretty much most of a movie, but because they didn't show any like trailers or anything, they could just write it completely off. If that was the case, Sony would just be in a back alley shed just making a movie so that they could say they spent 97 million and then just write it all off, because they don't have to show anything.
Yeah, no, but they decided to release Madam Web in theaters.
So that means that they were banking on this making a profit on its own.
Yeah. Again, like, no one's trying to go to bat for the studios necessarily, but they're just like, you can't put all the blame on them.
Yeah, he's making it sound like we're like they're corporate bootlickers, when it's like, you realize like EFAP's biggest enemy is a little company called Disney, right?
And Bob has the fucking Black Widow collectible popcorn bucket. So,
how much do you want to bet he just finally got rid of that thing because he finally got shamed so much?
He probably still has it, I bet.
Oh, that'd be sad.
Such bullshit. These guys are corporate fucking tools.
Says the person constantly defending the corporate slop spilled out by Disney. Motherfucker, you... I'm too tired for this shit.
No, it's like you praise Kenobi, which is like some of the most slop to have ever slopped.
He thought Ahsoka was good, or at least the Ahsoka episodes he had watched up until that point.
He thought Reva was a great character, when Reva has no personality.
No, she has personality. It's called being retarded.
I didn't realize that was labeled as a personality nowadays.
Yeah, but no, like, you constantly criticize people for criticizing Disney and Marvel and Star Wars. Like, what the fuck are you even on?
Act like they're not, but they are. It's right there. And
Your inability to understand something does not does not make you. Fuck, I don't know.
I'll say it again. These guys, fucking Gene Siskel glowy eyes, fringy Homelander face. I don't know who some of these guys are. Mauler, Nerdrotic.
Because you didn't bother.
Rag.
Yeah, you
You didn't bother to know who these people are. Because you don't care.
Yeah, and you were by the way, you were literally making this massive assumption, like of this. How long was this? Like a 7-hour podcast?
Nearly 7 hours. No, I think it was nearly 6.
Okay, so it's like so it's nearly a 6-hour podcast. You've watched like you've watched less than a half hour's worth of this nearly 6-hour podcast, and you're making this massive sweeping statement. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Again, you are bad faith.
Critical Drinker. Those would be the big ones I want to hit on anyway. Mauler, Nerdrotic, Rags, Critical Drinker. These guys, they are not anti-corporate like you guys like to sell. Like the
That they are anti-corporate, though. Just simply stating something that is clearly a fact does not mean just whatever.
The EFAP fans and the Phantom Menace fans, these guys are not anti-corporate. They're anti-fucking art.
Yeah, I don't even know how one could be anti-art by the metrics in which you are like laying down anyways. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't think I need to watch any more of this.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, that was shit. That was
Jesus Christ.
He's taking you out. Meanwhile, I had a bit of a drain.
Oh,
but now
my
I'm
medication fucks me the fuck up.
back. Well, meanwhile, I've been sobering up through this entire fucking thing because while I was playing Helldivers with Max, so I took an edible, and it's just like, whoa, gotta defend democracy, and now I'm sobered up. So
Jesus Christ, that was awful.
it was, yeah. I think out of all the creators we look at, Organized Chaos is definitely the most draining.
He's draining because it's like he doesn't say anything, and when he does, it's some of the most retarded nonsense imaginable.
He made one complete point. We agreed with him on it.
Yeah, and then he goes around calling people like anti-art when the metrics that he is calling them anti-art by do not make them anti-art. They just make them like pro-corporate art by that logic.
He called them basically corporate bootlickers when they fight Disney tooth and nail on everything they come out with. Like, because it's Saturday morning where we're recording, and like I'm excited for whatever the new EFAP's going to be. If it's going to be Dune Part 2, or if it's going to be something else. It might
Walking with Dinosaurs. Let's go.
Please, no.
Yes.
Make it an EFAP movies. It was really weird.
I don't care. I don't. Make it EFAP. What to Walking with Dinosaurs.
Then again, I'm being the autistic one and just saying you put the wrong title.
No, EFAP 276 Walking with Dinosaurs. Let's get even more based up in here.
No, I hope they don't go over this. It's too short notice. But I really hope they of all things talk about Dune Part 2 because they made a whole thing about Part 1.
I don't think they're ever going to cover Organized Chaos again anyways.
Yeah, that's why they said why Organized Chaos and actual fandom, they will never debate them because they know they're just using EFAP to get views.
Pretty much, yeah. That is what is happening.
feel like something Disney related fucking came out, and I'm blanking so hard because that's what I was like. Oh, they're gonna probably talk about it. Fuck, I don't know. Then again, Mahler has like 6 other podcasts that he's probably mentioned something in. Like he's fucking. I need to listen. Get back to listening to Stargrift. Stargrift bores the shit out of me.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't even think that it's Mahler, Ryan, or Theory's fault. I think it's just I'm kind of so done with Star Wars that it's like, yeah, you're, I don't.
Star
care
Wars
about
is
the Bad
kind
Batch.
of like not as it's kind of dead. It's kind of a dead product.
It's mortally wounded with no one putting even a band-aid on the wound.
Well, anyway, subscribe to Wyatt. Subscribe to me. Don't subscribe to Bob. Well, subscribe to Movie Bob, but not Organized Chaos.
No, don't listen to him who's drugged out of his mind. I think he's had too much spice beer. Don't subscribe to Organized Chaos. Don't subscribe to Movie Bob. Subscribe to Yarp. By the time of releasing this, we might have already done our Toriyama stuff. Rest in peace, you absolute fucking legend.
Yeah.
Hopefully Evil Within will continue. We did our Unkill the Justice League video a few weeks ago.
Yes.
And eventually we'll need to pick a new thing for that. With all the Starship Troopers talk, I'm tempted to start looking for more political articles talking about the Federation.
Yeah, and once I'm almost done with book 6 of the Horus Heresy. I'll get to listen to the Starship Troopers book.
God, we need to catch ourselves up with the shows.
Yeah, I know.
really
There's
wanna
an
watch
episode
that-
of Hammer and Bolter with Lucius the Eternal.
I actually, on a side note, finally sat down and listened to what was a complete breakdown of the timeline of the Horus Heresy, and
Yeah.
it really is just rough what happened with Horus.
Yeah. Like the fucking shit with the Interrex is like the biggest thing. If the meeting with the Interrex went off without a hitch, he would have learned about chaos. He would have seen that there are times where humans and Xenos can live together in relative peace. Not all the time.
Were the Interrex the people that had all those STCs?
They were the ones that Erebus stole the dagger from.
Oh yeah, because they had that whole museum and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And he went there, the whole idea was he wants to know what kind of war master he wants to be, and it's no, I'm going to try diplomacy with these people. These are our brothers, even if they do consort with Xenos. Maybe that's not always a bad thing. Maybe there are some species that we can live in harmony with. And then Erebus had to ruin everything because that's what Erebus does.
Fucking shitbag. Everybody's a dick, but fuck that guy in particular.
Yeah, Erebus. It's Erebus is Erebus is the villain of Warhammer 40K.
And again, I'm so glad Karn just kicks the shit out of him.
I love that line where he just looks at him. Karn's not angry. He's not seething with rage like a world eater. The nails aren't bleeding. He just looks at him and says, "Get up."
Yeah, because he's gonna kick your ass. Honestly, the thing that really shows who Horus really was, even before Chaos really started to corrupt him, was that once he got stabbed and had the whole ritual and had that meeting with I forgot the fucking name of that civilization. They had shit tons of STCs. The second that they figured that out, Horus just shoots him in the face.
Oh, you're talking about the planet that he gets stabbed on?
No, this is after.
Is it the tech? It's the technocracy, right?
Yeah, because they're like, oh yeah, we've got a shit ton of SDCs, like something that
Yeah.
you would think is even rare, and that's super rare. And Horus just went neat, bang. 'Cause then
Yeah, where like
steal all of it.
they framed the assassination like on him.
Yeah, and that's where he starts to build like the alliance for the heresy and start to weed out like who would be killed later at Istvan.
Mm-hmm.
First
Yeah,
heresy is really neat, people. I don't even know if you're still recording.
I'm still recording this. I don't know why, but I am. Who cares? They'll see it. You should watch. You should.
I don't think the Age of Sigmar show would bore you to tears. I think you'd just be confused because you wouldn't know any of those people are.
No, what I want to see like an animated version of the Istvan 3 massacre, because Istvan 5 was cool, but Istvan 3 is that got to me on a very personal
Well, yeah,
level.
and that's where you get the Flight of the Eisenstein, that kind of stuff.
Oh, the Flight of the Eisenstein is so good. Anyways, subscribe to Movie Bob. Bye.